Man, I haven't done a live in forever, I feel like. And lives are my favorite videos to do. They really are. But for those of you who aren't aware, I've had a house guest for the last month, almost month and a half. So I haven't really done any lives on my channel. I've done lives. I did lives on her channel, but I haven't done any lives on my channel in a long time. So I'm kind of out of the swing of things, but I wanted to do one, number one, because like I said, I haven't done it in a long time. And two, I don't know, I was just feeling some kind of a mood. Hello, hello. So I think probably to ease myself back into the swing of life things, I'm kind of going to pick up on what she and I did on her channel. For those of you who don't know, I'm talking about Jade, Angels 2014. She stayed with me here in Colorado for a little over a month, and we were doing live chats on her channel talking about Produce 48. Hi! So I thought I would do a live chat here talking about Produce 48 really quickly, and also show you guys a photo book that I got in the mail, which is super duper cool. Actually, you know what? Let's look at the photo book first, because it's way better than anything I have to say. So this is, I don't know why I'm calling it a photo book. This is an art book. This is an art book I got in the mail recently. It's called Imagine. It's by Noxim on Twitter. The spelling, I don't know if you can see that very well. Noxim is Noxim. And it's somebody who I follow on Twitter because they're an amazing artist. And I remember hearing about the whole production behind this. This was an art book to have like all of the BTS art that Noxim has done since day one put into one binding. But apparently there was a big problem with the first print or run of these art books, so they did a second run. The second run is gorgeous, beautiful, everything. This first run has got some flaws in it, so they were being sold at like half off. And I love this person's art, and I've talked on my channel before about supporting artists, fan art, buying from the artist when you can. So this was something that for half off, considering how beautiful everything is in here, it was too big of a deal for me to pass up. So I went ahead and I ordered it, and I don't know if she's got any more left. I'm saying she, but it could be a he. I believe it's a she though. I don't know if she's got any more left on her, I think it's Ticktail shop, but this is gorgeous, and I wanted to show it to you. That way you can follow them on Twitter, and then the next time they have an art book for sale, hopefully some of you will go pick it up if you like BTS fan art. I like fan art from everybody. Hi, Sarah. I like fan art for SHINee, of course. I have a couple of SHINee webzines that I've been following. I like BTS, I like EXO, I like Red Velvet. I love all kinds of fan art. Anybody who has an artistic bone in their body, you're aces with me, because it is my favorite thing in the world. I'm actually currently having a piece done. I did a commission with my friend Mason. He's here, MBK Pop 1997. He is an artist. He actually studies at CalArts in California, and he is doing a commission piece for me. It's a Minho piece, and it's a little fanficky, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, it's my money, and I do what I want with my funds. But let's get into the content of this right here. I do like Twice, Sarah. I find that I haven't loved their recent singles. I didn't really like Dance the Night Away. I thought What Is Love was cute. Likey I really, really enjoyed. And I'm probably one of the only people on the face of the earth who likes Signal. I think it's wonderful, but I mean, I'm also a JYP old man stan, so there you go. So this is the intro of the book, and you can see kind of close up, there's some binding issues here, and there's some kind of print rub-off issues in it, so this is why it was discounted so much. But look at that. Look at that art. Is that not glorious? Like, who can do that? Who does that? Like, how... That's a magical skill. That is magic. You just don't wake up one day and you're able to do that. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. Got them in America's Best Eyeglass stores. This is a chain. It's all around the country. But you can even see, like, as beautiful as these pictures are, you can see close up there's some issues with the binding. So, yeah, I imagine if the artist cared enough to get an entire run redone of this, that says a lot about their integrity. It says a lot about how they feel about this art, and so I'm really happy to support this in any way I can. Some more beautiful artwork. I believe that she is Jimin, Suga, Jungkook biased. There's a well, no, I take that back. I would say Jungkook v Jimin biased and maybe a little bit of Suga, but mostly that group of four, because there's not as much Namjoon in here. There's not as much Hosuk in here. There's not as much Jin in here. And why did I say Namjoon like that? I said it like he lives somewhere in the country. Namjoon. There's not as much Namjoon in here as I would prefer, because he's my bias, but at the same time, this stuff is gorgeous. Like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm going to try to find my favorite picture in here. It's easy to find though, so I don't know why I'm saying I'm going to try. Well, actually, I have like a couple of fierce favorites. So this Jimin one, oh my gosh. Is that not the prettiest, softiest thing you've ever seen? It's so freaking gorgeous. Another one, and it's another Jin photo, but it's still freaking gorgeous. Look at that flower photo. Oh my gosh. Well, not photo, but drawing. Ugh. So pretty. Lots of Jungkook in here, so follow on Twitter because there's a ton of it in here. Let's see. What's a good one? There's a couple of kind of NSFW ones in here, so I'm trying to avoid that. Look at this one of Jungkook with the tattoos. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, that is so gorgeous. But yeah, follow on Twitter. I implore you. This is quality stuff. I can't believe somebody could do something like this and then not charge tons of money for it too. Like, this was not expensive. I think this was like $16, but it shipped from New Zealand, so the shipping made it closer to like $25. That's not bad at all. This was really, really affordable. This is my favorite Namjoon one in here. Jin. Let me see if there's some Jin in here. I know there is. I just gotta find it first. Well, that is Jin, but I don't particularly like that one. Okay, so some of the pictures in here are from a fanfic that this person drew for, and so taken out of context, they don't really make a lot of sense. But this is a Jin one right here. Again, Noxim, it's Noxiim on Twitter. Let's see if there's anything. Yeah, that's what it says. It hits. No, I take that back. It's Noxim on Tumblr. On Twitter, it's Noxim Art. So it's Noxiimart. Noxim Art. But yeah, you can kind of see it right here where it says what it is. But yeah, so gorgeous. So gorgeous. It seems like you guys want to know about the NSFW. Well, it's not super NSFW. It's just one of those things where it's like, if somebody saw this over your shoulder, they might ask you questions like this one right here. If somebody saw this over your shoulder, they might ask you some questions, but I don't think it's super bad. It's just not something I would look at work, because I like to keep my job. It pays the bills and it buys K-pop. So yeah, that is everything kind of that. Well, I don't know. Is there anybody here who I haven't shown your bias? Let's see. I haven't shown. Well, I did show a Hosuk one just a moment ago. This one right here with the flowers. Did I show that one to you? Isn't that pretty? And there's some cute Suga in here. I mentioned earlier. Looks like that might be a bias as well, because there's this really pretty one of Suga right here. Pretty. So cute. So yeah. Oh, another NSFW. It's a little questionable, but still tasteful. You know, it's like when people in the art world say nudes, it doesn't mean naked. It means tasteful nude. There's a difference between nude and naked, and this is not naked. It's just nude. But yeah, beautiful work. I just don't understand how anybody's able to do this, and if I could do this for a living, I would charge you an arm and a leg for my art, because this is just gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous. So sharing that with you. Speaking of BTS, has anybody here thought about pre-ordering their new, is it a repackage? I'm not sure. Answer. It's called Answer. But I'm not quite sure if it's like all brand new songs or if it's like a combination of old and new songs. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, I've pre-ordered mine. I actually bought it from a vendor I haven't used in forever. So does anybody remember K-Mall 24? Anyone at all? K-Mall 24, for those of us who have been around for a minute and a half, probably remember them because a few years ago they used to do these like crazy sales where you had to get on the website at the right time and they would have K-pop albums for like $5. And it would be like one special album. But I think everything kind of blew up with K-Mall 24 when they had the big like $10 Young Forever sale, and like the server went down, the website crashed. Like it was crazy how many people were trying to get it. But since then, their focus has been more on like beauty products and that kind of thing. They really haven't been doing anything with album sales, or they've had albums, but it's just not been a priority for them. Somehow or another, I'm on their like email list, so I get their sales emails in my inbox all the time, and they had this sale email where it was like, get all 4 versions plus posters for $90. And I was like, what? $90? Because everywhere I've been seeing it, it's been like, get all 4 versions plus posters. You're looking at minimum $100. I think on K-Town for You was $110, but it hasn't been cheap. And so I was like, okay, it is something I want, and I would like to get it when it comes out. So I'll go ahead and I'll do it there. So we'll see what happens, because like I said, it's been a minute and a half since I've bought from them. In fact, I'm even wondering if it was K-Mall 24 that I bought from. It was either K-Mall 24 or Korean Mall. One of the two. Both of those are websites I don't really frequent as much anymore. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what comes in the mail. Hopefully everything's in good condition. Shipping was never really a problem with those stores. The problem was that they had one thing that they used to lure customers in, and then they slowly started to do away with that feature to try to get people to buy stuff that wasn't really what we came here for. And I mean, the prices when compared with other vendors, you pretty much weren't saving anything. I think K-Mall, their real big thing was you could order as much or little stuff as you want for free shipping, which was great if you wanted just one album. You pay $15 and you get it free shipped. But if you flip that around and you take away the free shipping, and all of a sudden I came here for free shipping because that's what made the CD affordable. Now it's the same cost as everybody else. The shipping is the same cost as everybody else. Why would I choose you when I could choose somebody who has a much bigger selection, better selection, that their focus is music, not music, pajamas, ramen noodles, and beauty products, you know? So anyway, I'm always trying to kind of search for new websites, new places to get things, new ways to attain valuables. At this time, I'm thinking about making an order with K-Pop Factory. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to get from them. I think I'm going to get the new Mamamoo album. There was a while there where I had really given up on Mamamoo. Like they had done some questionable things. I was kind of over it. But these last few releases have been great. They've been fantastic. I like Egotistic. I liked the last release. I liked the special song for Wasa's birthday recently. Like, everything has been good for me. And they really kind of shied away from some of the more problematic stuff they were doing. Wasa, I fell back in love with her from watching her and Loco have a semi-romance. So at the end of the day, I feel like I'm ready to re-embrace Mamamoo. There's still one album that I'm going to avoid at all costs. The album with Dalcom, can't pronounce the word. I'm sorry, I don't pay much attention. The one where it was kind of date rapey, I don't want to see that one. I don't want to have anything to do with that particular album. But all the rest of it, I'm here for. I'm ready for, and I'm ready to re-embrace them again. I think, you know, when it came down to it, I think that the management didn't do the best at communicating for the girls. But I do think that they have a big appreciation for their fans. I think they've learned their lesson, and they've stayed away from things that they really need to avoid, and they've made me love them again. So I'm ready to re-embrace them. So I'll probably be ordering some Mamamoo stuff from K-Pop Factory. Also, I could use your help, guys, because I'm coming up empty here. So you guys know I'm Dakalomane, whatever, that thing right there. Terrible, terrible. I hate that. So the plea for help. You guys know I'm going to Fort Worth on the 15th to see BTS there. They're doing 2 shows. I think they're doing a Saturday and a Sunday show. I'm going to the Saturday show. I don't mind buying merch at the venue. That's never a problem. I'm cool with it. What I have an issue with is I don't think I can get to the venue early enough to get in the line to get the merch and actually get it. That's the problem. So my hope was to buy the version 3 bomb before the concert. That way I don't even have to think about it. It's just already in my luggage. I'm ready to go. Problem being, I cannot figure out how the fuck to get one of these things to save my life. Like, I've gone on Twitter, I've done the Googles, I've been on the Big Hit website. I don't know what the hell is going on. I have no way of securing the bag, and I need help figuring out ways to secure the bag. Like, if somebody could pass me a link to a group order, or if somebody knows someone who knows somebody who has a friend who works around the alley who could get into Big Hit and just sneak one out for me, like, whatever story will work to get this in my hand, that's what I want, because I don't mind bringing the fake one that I bought. Like, I'm not ashamed of it. I did what I had to do. I mean, at the time that I bought it, there were no version 2s to be had from any legitimate source. There were no version 1s to be had from any legitimate source. So, you know, a girl's gonna do what a girl's gotta do. But if I can buy the legit thing, if I could put the money in Big Hit's hand, I wanna do that. I wanna do that because I'm a big supporter of the artist in every way, shape, and form. I buy the albums, I buy, you know, concert tickets from the original concert promoter. Like, that's what I do. And so any way I can do that, that's what I want to do. But they make it so freaking hard to do this. Like, I don't know if it's one of those things where they haven't quite figured out how to make this work, but I have no problem getting an XL light stick. I have little to no problem getting a light stick for Shiny. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But damn if I'm not having the hardest of times getting this BTS version 3 light stick. And I guess maybe they limit it because it makes the fans clamor. You know, it's impressive when every time you have a product rollout, it's a sellout. Because people know, if I don't get it now, I'm never going to get it. You know it's not a good light if it doesn't go out. I don't know how the hell Jade did it. When she was here, the live stream never went out on her. When it's me, the live stream constantly goes out. Ah well. Anyway, so I understand that fans love things that are limited. I get that completely. I'm not a stranger to this. This is totally, I understand. But some of us don't have the luxury of being on the website the minute it goes for sale because some of us are at work, or some of us are asleep because we have to go to work the next day. Like, there's so many things that keep us from being able to be on the website all day long trying to get this limited edition item. Or, you know, like with the line store stuff, I swear, I was on Amazon, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my Koya pillow. Could not get it. And then it didn't restock for forever. And by then I already had somebody who went to the physical store and bought the pillow for me. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's one of those things where I think Big Hit could get a lot more money from people if they would, at the very least, do better pre-orders. Like, instead of doing a pre-order that has a limited number, maybe do an open-ended pre-order with a cutoff date and then order all the stuff that was bought before the cutoff date. Instead of issuing a pre-order that sells out because the pre-order already had a limited stock. I don't know. It's frustrating to me. It's frustrating to me, especially because I know if it's a quality product, which most official merchandise is, it does take a minute for production runs to happen. So it's not something that can be done overnight. So I don't see why it would have been unreasonable for them to start the pre-orders maybe at the beginning of July, cut the pre-orders off at the end of July, and then take in that number and send that to the fabrication company, have it made, and then have all those pre-orders ready, shipped prior to the end of August, and then they will have also the amount that they're going to be selling at the shows. And then make it to where the ones that are sold at the concerts are the actual limited edition bombs, and maybe slide in a little something extra to make it limited edition. So that, oh, well, you can tell it's a concert bomb because it's got this little change right here to a dial, or it's got this little additional piece, or it's got a special concert photo card, something like that. But like, just make the bombs available in general. That would be lovely, Big Hit. Please do that. that for me. But that's me ranting, and I'm sure you guys aren't here for the rants, but this is me sharing with you. So let me get back to what I said I was going to do initially, and let's talk about Produce 48. This should be brief because this last episode, even though it was as long as any other episode, it felt like it went a lot quicker. Like, I remember watching it and thinking, this is fast. This is really fast. But I think that's because there wasn't as much filler maybe for this particular episode, and also because I probably went on YouTube and I watched a lot of the performances before I watched the episode. So there, I probably cheated myself out of a lot of the drag time. So this episode of Produce 48, they were showing the other half of all of the performances that were done for this round of elimination. So the challenge was they had people vying to show either their dance skill or their vocal / rap skill, which, can I just say, I don't think that's really fair. I don't think it's fair that the dancers get their own category that they can ace, but vocal and rapper are put together. And I think it's not fair because I think a rapper is like a third position when it comes to like vocalist, rapper, dancer. I think they all have a different kind of a skill, because part of the challenge is if you took the rapper position in the performance, you had to write your own rap. So that's a composing skill. So you've got basically dancer, singer, composer, performer. And I think that, like I said, it's a special talent all to its own. There should have been the opportunity for a third person to get that extra 100,000 points. Hey, Diana. So that's my kind of main gripe about the whole thing, but you know, it is what it is. So let's get on to the performances. The first performance was Team in the New World, and I liked that performance quite a bit. I thought of all of the vocal performances done on the show outside of the performance of Hayes' song, this was the one that I thought flowed the best, worked the best. I thought everybody did a really fair job. Even though I don't like Ari, that child gets on my nerves, and I know she's a child, so I put it right there, but still, she gets on my nerves because kids. I thought the performance was really good. Yoonjin, who is the trainee from Pledis, the other trainee from Pledis is what we've been calling her, even though really we should call her the giraffe. She was the center for the vocal, and I thought she did a great job. I thought her tone was really nice. I thought her tone was very interesting. It had a very Western quality to it. I liked her quite a bit, but even though she was the center, she wasn't the one who got the most votes. The actual person who got the most votes was the girl from Ulam. She actually was the one that everybody was super impressed with her vocal, and her name is Chaewon. So that was really nice for her. I'm glad, because she was the leader. And then Nako, who is from the AKB48 side, she of course got really good votes. I like her performance. She sings in a very Japanese kind of nasally style, but at the same time it suits, and she still obviously is a contender. I thought it was kind of lame that she gave away the center position, because that is something that could propel you into being more popular, but at the same time, I feel like she's an earnest person, so maybe it won't affect her too much. Maybe her selflessness will help people to vote for her when the vote time comes. I don't know, we'll see. Next we have what I'm calling Teen Hand Clap. There's this song by Fitz and the Tantrums called Hand Clap. It's not a song I know about. It sounds like a car commercial song to me, but apparently it is super duper popular in Korea, and this was one of the dance songs. I'll be honest, I liked the choreography. I thought it was one of the better actual choreographies done for the show, but I wasn't really as keen on individual dancers, which is weird because there's one girl in the AKB unit who's named Murasai, I think it's Murasai, and she was not the center, but she ended up not only being the best out of her group in terms of getting the most votes, she won for like best dancer for the entire round, the elimination round, which I guess, I mean, she's a gorgeous girl. She's beautiful. And honestly, I didn't even realize she was one of the Japanese trainees until they showed kind of like the AKB thing under her name. Like, oh, okay. But she's got a great look. She's super duper pretty. But yeah, I think that it was a vote for beauty over maybe actual talent. Not saying the other girls weren't talented, just saying there was no clear distinction of like, okay, that one right there is dancing their ass off. It was kind of everybody was doing really well. The girl who was the center, her name was Aoi. It's Aoi. That's how you spell her name. Anyway, sorry about that. It keeps doing it. I don't know how to stop it. I can't figure it out. Sorry. But the girl's name is Aoi. I can't pronounce it. But she was the center. She's super duper cute. I remember watching the performance before I knew who was the center and thinking, that girl right there in the green is really cute. But it didn't come across to the audience, which stinks because she also had a big hand in helping to do the choreography. So that was sad. And then there was Choyun, who was the group leader and actually did the choreography, the bulk of it. And I liked her performance just fine. I think she deserved more points for being the one who came up with the dance because the dance itself was super catchy. And also, we know her as Fire Eyes. So there's that. Then we have what I'm calling Team BTS. They did The Truth Untold. It was Miyu, who is my fave, and then Giri, who is from S9, was on the Idol School show. And then there's another girl who I think she's a Japanese trainee that goes by the name of Miho. Really, really surprised me, but I thought the performance was sweet. It was nice. I still am not a big fan of that song in particular, and the arrangement was a very kind of stripped down, I don't want to say the word depressing, but just very melancholic, almost sad rendition of that song. It's not a super upbeat song, so fits with the theme, but I wasn't as into it. I think Into the New World was a better vocal than that particular one. I felt bad for Miyu because Miyu really was a good leader for her group. She was good at arranging, she's got piano skills, but in terms of singing, I think that the song fell out of her vocal range, and so it made it very difficult for her to perform, and a lot of people have really been hating her because they think that she did a really bad performance, and it just sucks because she's so talented and she deserves more than what she got with this. Then we have what I'm calling Team Demi. They did Introduction, and prayers for Demi Lovato. I hope you get through this, girl. But Introduction, I thought had the cutest sexy choreography. So a lot of body rolling, butt poking out kind of dance has been done, but I thought Introduction had a really nice choreography that didn't rely too much on sex appeal, had some really nice hand movements in there. Of that group, I can't really say anybody in particular stood out to me, so it wasn't a surprise that their dancer didn't win overall best dancer. Then there was Team Touch by Little Mix. I like their choreography. I like the fact that I think the group that did that one didn't have anybody who had any experience in doing choreography, and so they were kind of all a little bit lost at first, but it came together. It was nice. So yeah, I thought that their team leader was my fave just because she tried so dang hard, but other than that, there was nobody from that group that really stood out to me either. And then lastly, we have Team Do, and that was a hot freaking mess. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you guys know there's one girl on the show who was like, I should have been in Blackpink. I was already in the group. And then I don't know what happened because they never really elaborate on the show. But apparently she's not with YG. She's an independent person. Like, she didn't have a company. And she came on the show, I guess, to redeem herself. She's got long, kind of blondish hair, very thin face, kind of larger eyes. And she was the group leader. And she was trying to do the rap position, I guess, for it. But because, I guess, and this is just my assumption, I guess because she came so close to being in Blackpink, she kind of has a chip on her shoulder about that. And so she's been wanting to perform Blackpink songs on the show. In the first group challenge they had, when everybody was running for songs, she wanted to do Blackpink but wasn't able to. And so this time she was able to perform the Blackpink Did song, but she's not really a singer. She's a dancer. And so she was trying to gear the performance towards being more of a dance performance. And even the judges behind the scenes, not even like the ones on camera, but the behind the scenes judges said, quit doing all that dancing. This is a vocal position that you're trying to go for. So you need to concentrate on the vocal. And I guess she wasn't able to really take that to heart. So when the time came for them to be on stage, they gave a great performance. It was a very kind of polished, more professional performance, but she ended up forgetting her lyrics. And when you're being judged on vocal, that is a disaster for you. So I felt really bad for her, but then again I didn't, because you can't let yourself be so blindsided about proving a point that you miss the point. And that's exactly what happened to her. She missed it. The point was vocals and rap, and she tried to make it a, I still could be in Blackpink today if I wanted to. So it is what it is. I thought that Vivian did a really good job with her pronunciation. I liked her, and she had that same little vocal crack that Rose has in the song during the pre-chorus. That was really cute. I thought that Jury did a great job, but I like her a lot. There's just something about her face that I feel like I want to be friends with that girl. And then I thought Doa did a really good job too, so shouts out to them. Overall, the episode was fun to watch. I'll be watching Produce 48 again on Saturday because I'm keeping up with it this time, because the truth is, you can't even enjoy K-pop nowadays if you don't watch the shows. If you don't watch Produce and you don't watch all these making competition shows, there's nothing in K-pop for you. And I don't say that to be dismissive of anybody in particular, but all these groups come out and you're like, where did they come from? Because they're all from these kind of smaller labels you've never heard of, and production companies you've never seen anybody else from. And it's because they had trainees on these produce shows, and those trainees gained some kind of traction, some kind of popularity. So then the flip side of that is their company promotes them as, this group made a former contestants of this show. And that's the big thing. And even to the point that, like, the way that the news is put out there, if you have any connection with these shows, you're a part of the news cycle. For instance, the young man that died recently that was a member of Spectrum. Never heard a song from Spectrum a day in my life, but because he was a former contestant on Produce 101, it gained a lot of traction in the news cycle that he was reported as having died recently. There wasn't any kind of clarification about how he died, so, you know, as terrible as it sounds, I do hope it was maybe not natural causes, but like a medical issue, because I don't want to lose anybody else to suicide. I really, really don't. But yeah, the shows are so important that even people who weren't big players on the show, we're still paying a lot of attention to. So as an older K-pop fan, or a fan that came in during the 2012 cycle, in order for me to keep current, I have to be involved in watching these shows. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to be a part of it. And I mean that with all sincerity. Like, JBJ was super popular, had no idea who those people were. Donghan won a music show recently, had no idea who he was. Then there's The Boys, and there's Ace, and there's all these other groups that they have some connection to something else, and I'm just not catching it because I don't watch the shows. And I don't know, at this point I'm beginning to think that YouTube hates me and they don't want me to do lives at all because it keeps on turning off. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm trying to keep in the game. I'm trying to keep in the loop because I still love the music. I find new stuff all the time that I'm super interested in, but without having any kind of background into where these people come from, it's harder for me to latch on to them. And then I don't feel like a lot of these groups from these really small production companies do a lot of variety either. So getting to know their personality and stuff like that, it makes it a lot harder to do if you don't see their personality from the show that they were on that got them known by the general public. So that's what it is. Also, I found out that weird rule, thanks to Jade for looking into this, that weird rule about not touching each other on the Produce show is because apparently AKB48 is known for their skinship. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But anyway, on to kind of more random stuff. Is there anything that anybody want to talk about that I haven't talked about? Because we can do that because I got plenty of time, because, you know, that's why I came on live, so I can do fun things like answer your questions and talk about random stuff and talk mad shit about people. Oh, I have an update about my Shiny album. So, okay, I told you guys how when I got this album in the mail, it was super duper damaged. It's like all dented in the back. I'm sure you can't tell. Well, maybe you can. It's all dented in the back. The contents were damaged, and I had been trying to reach out to K-Pop Plus because I needed them to fix it. I flat out needed them to fix it. So they have like a questionnaire thing. There is a questionnaire that they have on their website where you can like tell them what your problem is, and they're supposed to write you back. It's a fill in the blank type of form, contact us form. Filled that out, waited for about, I would say 5 days, didn't hear anything back. Sent them an email, waited for a week, didn't hear anything back. So finally I went on PayPal and I opened a case against K-Pop Plus because I felt like it was unreasonable that I had not only filled out their contact form, but I had also sent them an email along with pictures of the damage so that I could get this addressed, and I didn't hear from anybody. So a day goes by, still don't hear anything. Another day goes by, really don't hear anything. On day 3, K-Pop Plus finally responded, and when they responded, they said that they would give me back half of my money and reship the albums. So I'm really excited about that. I hope that they come in good condition this time. If they don't come in good condition this time, I'm just going to give them away because at this point I don't have the patience, and I did get half my money back, so that's fine. It's fine. I don't like that when it comes to customer service, you don't want to talk to me until I threaten your money, when really you should be talking to me so I will continue to give you my money. If you understand what I'm saying, like, keep the customer you have rather than trying not to lose the customer you could have had all along. All right, so there you go. So it says here, what is your opinion on Blackpink's mini album? I'd like to know your thoughts on it. Sorry if you already answered this question. No, I haven't. Thoughts on Blackpink's album. I actually bought their mini album. I bought it from an eBay seller who was selling it used with no photo card for like $12 and some change. I went ahead and I bought it. When it comes to Blackpink, I don't really have any feelings about the girls themselves. And it doesn't come from a bad place or anything like that. It's just that I don't have any feelings about the girls themselves because, number one, they're so young, so I really can't relate. And then number two, I feel like just about anybody on YG except for Big Bang is in a really bad position in terms of being able to do what they want on that label. Because YG has such an iron grip on everybody's everything. Your look, your sound, your activity level, everything, your social media presence, everything seems to be so micromanaged. So for me, when it comes to Blackpink as individuals, I don't have strong feelings about them because I feel like they're doing their job. And you can't fault people for doing their job. In terms of the music, I think the music is good music. I wouldn't expect anything less from Teddy. But I also feel like when it comes to Teddy, it's almost this thing where like you could fill in the blanks on a Teddy song and it's gonna be good. You know, like I really feel like you could take any of these Blackpink songs, remove any member you wanted to, insert somebody else who has a modicum of talent, and the song would still sound just as good because the songs are written that well. So of course it's a great mini album to get because it's well written, it's well produced, because you've got people who have been in the game for 15, 20 years doing this music. They know what they're doing. They've got a sound that is instantly recognizable by the public. It's gonna be a hit. Like, absolutely, it's gonna be a hit. There's nothing on that album that's like wildly experimental. They're like, oh, hey, hold up, nobody's doing that. I'm not sure if I like it. No, it's all sounds I'm very familiar with. I'm used to hearing that I've enjoyed in the past, and I'm gonna continue to enjoy into the future. Teddy plays a lot with Eastern sounds that aren't necessarily like Chinese, Korean, Japanese, more like Indian, that kind of sound, and he puts a lot of that in there. He also enjoys putting different infusions of reggae into his production, and all of that is present in the new music for Blackpink, and it all sounds really good. I think that the packaging left a lot to be desired, though. I bought the pink version of the album, and the little lenticular square thing, I think that they could have gotten rid of that and use that to put something else cool in the packaging. I am used to slipcovers because of Shiny and because of Red Velvet. They're not my favorite thing in the world, and I wonder how scratched up that cover will be being on a shelf. But other than that, the photo book for the pink version, because that's the one I got, the photo book is nice. It's got your classic, you know, blank page picture, because I guess you're supposed to take it to fan signs and get it signed up. I liked it. I liked it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. But I do think that when it comes to Blackpink, there's nothing new there, and because of that, for me, it's kind of middle of the road for me. No hate for them at all. It's just, like I said, it's middle of the road for me. I think I would be more interested to see what Blackpink would be like if they dealt with different producers and different songwriters. Somebody who you're not used to hearing from on YG, and then see what they're like when they're given a totally and completely different sound, when they're not being kind of pushed into that certain sound. Because you also have to consider this. A lot of the way that Blackpink sounds, a lot of the way that they perform, everything else, they've been given the 2NE1 model for the last several years. I mean, they were told in the beginning, you know, this is where we're leading you to. This is the path that you're on. And when you're trained in a certain mold, you embody that because that's what you can do by muscle memory. So it would be nice to see what a Blackpink would sound like if you gave them a JYP song, or what they would sound like if you had them work with the Stereotypes, who does a lot of work for SM. I would like to see them out of their current mode and put them into something different and see what comes out. You know, shake it up a little bit, see what happens. And I think that would be really good, because I think it would help to establish more of their personality and show them as more diverse artists. So that's what I'm thinking. That's my thoughts. Let's see what else I have here. It's way harder as an older K-pop fan. I can't believe I'm one of those now, because there are so many new K-pop groups popping up, and most of them are from small companies who don't know how things work, or they don't not have the money to pay for their idols to go on shows, which sucks for the idols. I hope those groups, cause there is so much they can do with YouTube, Instagram, in the V app. Ace started busking in hot pants or crop tops because that caused people to talk, but older idols or celebs question them for doing that. Yeah, I get that Ace, their costuming is made for attention, and attention that they need, because they come, attention because they come from these smaller production houses, and the way to get known is either be, you know, famous or infamous, and so infamous is easier to pull off when you don't have money. But it's sad because Ace has a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent there. The song is good. The new song is good. I heard it randomly on Spotify the other day, and I'm like, oh, I like this. This is nice. Another small group who I like a song for, another small group that I like a song for is a group called My Teen. They have a song called She's Bad, or She Bad. I really like that song. I like that song quite a bit. But again, trying to get your footing out there when there's so much competition, I think that's really hard. Hey, Aggie! Are you in China right now? I don't know. It's hard to get your foot out there when there's so much competition, and especially because we're in this really weird time where there's still a whole bunch of second generation in there, when we're kind of almost to the closing dates of third generation. Like, third generation are now considered veterans in the game, and so I guess fourth generation is coming on, but there's still so much second generation out there. There's still so much well-known established acts staying in the game that I just don't know how everybody can fit. There is room for everybody in some way. I just don't know how. Groups I've recently fallen out of love with. You know, it was hard to come to terms with it myself because, man, I mean, oh, but it's sad when a love affair dies, as they say in Evita. I don't really love Beast anymore. Hey, Alex. And that's been coming for a long time. And I realized it kind of towards the end of their time with Cube, as they have formed their new group Highlight. But yeah, I have fallen out of love with Beast, and I hate that. I hate that because I think that Fiction is one of the greatest K-pop songs of all time. Like, the way it is written, the way it is performed, like, it is that song. And that's why I love Vix's Era so much, because I love that particular iteration of Beast. And Beast / Highlight now, I just don't relate to them. I don't relate to the sound. I don't relate to the choreography. I don't relate. And it even broke my heart more because when Yosef came out with his solo, that was a solo I should have pre-ordered, because Yosef's last solo that had Caffeine on it, Caffeine is a perfect song. It is absolutely 100%. The only thing that's even slightly flawed about Caffeine is the English is kind of iffy grammar-wise, but Caffeine is a fantastic song, and that whole mini is really good, but that song in particular was strong enough for me to have bought his next solo, and I didn't, because I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it, and that has been a hard one to let go. I really have suffered a lot for having to let that go. I wasn't a big fan of Sungri's last project. This new one, The Great Sungri, I didn't like 1, 2, 3. I didn't like the Sexy and I Know It. No, that's not the name of the song. What is the name of the song? The one where it's got Donald Trump in them. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't really care at this point. I'm not a fan of Sungri's solo, which is crazy because I love Magic. I remember distinctly having an argument with myself about whose solo albums I like the most from Big Bang, because while I think I'm definitely Taeyong biased, I've enjoyed a lot of the solo stuff from Sungri, and I've enjoyed a lot of GD solo stuff, and I enjoyed Doom Dada, even though it was kind of strange and weird. But this new Sungri album, I can't do anything with this. It's not for me. I think it might be geared towards the Korean market, but it's not for me. So that's kind of an example of people that I'm kind of falling out of love with. I don't think I can ever truly fall out of love with Big Bang, just because, like I said, Taeyong biased. I love his music. I love what Big Bang does as a collective, but definitely I don't love this new Sungri set of songs at all. So I don't know. Where are you from? I don't like it either. I'm from America. Oh, Tom and Quan, I was sad about his solo too. It wasn't the best in my opinion. I love his other minis. My favorite solo is G-Dragon. G-Dragon does have some really tough solos. They're really good. Okay, any groups you tried to struggle to get into? I personally probably say GOT7, especially perhaps their newer songs, sadly. I feel like I've said this before on a live broadcast, but yeah, GOT7 is the one that I just can't. And I hate that. You know, we had a moment when it came to GOT7, like, we started out GOT7 and it was like, girls, maybe. Then okay. And then we got to If You Do. It was like, all right, okay, we're here, we're doing this. And because a lot of people didn't like Hajima. I did. And when we got to If You Do, I'm like, okay, we're here, we're getting ready to like really do this thing. And then we did Fly. And even though it was not necessarily what I thought we were going for, I'm like, I can still get with this. I can still get with Fly. You know, it was okay. It was okay. It was very Far East movement, but I still enjoyed it a lot. But after that, Hard Carry and some of the other songs, what? And the B-sides, what? I liked Teenage. I actually did like that one, and I like the song that they did with Hyolyn, because anything she does, I'll buy. She could sing the phone book, and I would buy 5 copies. But GOT7, on the whole, they're a group that if you love them, it's because you love them. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but I really do feel like GOT7 is that group that if you love them, you love them. You love Jackson. You love JB. You love Junior. Like, you love them. And so that's why I think they still continue to have an audience. They still continue to have performances, concerts, everything else. But I think the time has come to stop self-producing for GOT7. Like, that's a big thing for them. I think they need to work with new producers. I think they need to work with new concept artists. I think that they really need to get back to what they do the best. But I mean, oh my gosh, if their Japanese stuff is weaker than their Korean stuff, there's no hope. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine. Somebody mentioned about Infinite falling off. Okay, so Infinite, and I told this to Jade before she left, and she's like, oh, blasphemy. I'm not a big fan of early Infinite, and I actually don't really like the Chaser. Don't hurt me, don't hurt me. But I'll tell you when I got into Infinite, and it's kind of the same way with a lot of people, Infinite H. Infinite H got me into Infinite. And it's something about Dongwoo. He's my bias in Infinite. I just love his fucking face. Everything about him just screams, love me, love me, love me, and I give it to him all the time. But Infinite H got me into Infinite, and I really started to enjoy Infinite as a group with the single Back, and that particular album I really liked. And then Sunkyu did his first solo, which had a lot of really great songs on there. But then things started to go back downhill for me with the Reality album. I love the special edition. I currently have it for sale if you want to buy it. I love that photo book. But I thought that the B-sides were weak. And then they did the Bad Girl thing, and I thought I didn't really like the video concept all that much. And then the Eye, I love the song The Eye, not as fond of the album itself. And then this last album was just, it wasn't very memorable for me. And Infinite is a group that I want to love more, only because so many people that I love them, and I want us all to be in love together. But it's one of those things where it just never really connected. And I don't know. There's a lane that Infinite should be in my mind's eye, that they would do really well in, and I don't know how to vocalize what that lane is necessarily, but the songs on Sunkyu's first single, our first single solo album, not single, solo album, a lot of them were very 80s influence to me, but like an 80s kind of soft rock influence, if that makes any sense. And that particular sound, even though it wasn't popular in Korea, that sound to me is what I would want from Infinite. I don't want EDM from Infinite. I don't want R&B from Infinite. I want kind of a more pop, but like a pop rock influence sound for Infinite. And because it's not there, I just have a hard time connecting with them. And that's why it hurts, because I have so many people who love them so much, and I want us all to be there together, but it's just not quite coming to. So don't know what to do with that. Don't know what to do with that. Another group I struggled to get into, but I've mentioned this before, 101. You know, I didn't follow the show, so it's hard for me to follow the group. And there's so many releases, like just tons of releases. So I might go back and watch Produce, but right now I'm focused on Produce, so we are where we are. But yeah, they're another one that I want to love them, but I just don't have that same kind of devotion to them. And I just feel like, trying to get into 101 is like trying to get into the plot of a movie if all you caught was the last 20 minutes. Like, you probably could enjoy that last 20 minutes, but you missed so much stuff before that you're like, well, dang, but I don't know why that character's so important, or I don't know why this is a funny thing for everybody. So, yeah, bye! But yeah, that's kind of where I stand when it comes to 101, is that I just feel like I'm coming in the middle of the story, and unless I can catch it from the beginning, I don't feel very comfortable. Let's see, it says, love first Sunkyu album, and to agree, the full album, not so much. Yeah, so the first Sunkyu album I really liked. I didn't like the second one, and I didn't even pay attention to the third, so there you go. Okay. So it makes you happy to see other people love 101. That's so funny. I feel bad reading these. I'm sure you all are already reading them, though. But yeah. Thoughts on Card. Thoughts on Card is like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to say a lot of mean things, and I'm sorry. Thoughts on Card. Yes, we do all enjoy Shawwell 5's fanning of 101, especially her fanning of Jisung. That it makes my heart happy to see her love something so much. Thoughts on Card are my favorite Card song to like this very second is Don't Recall. I thought that song was really good. I like that song more than Rumor, even though a lot of other people like Rumor better. Or not Rumor, but Onana. A lot of people liked Onana the best. I thought Onana was good, but I thought that Don't Recall was the better song of that trilogy of Onana, Don't Recall, and Rumor. And then Ola Ola came out, and I wasn't as fond. And then other songs have come out that I can't even remember the names. And Card is another one of those groups that you have to love the group in order to love the music. They bypass that, I really like this song, I want to know this group, to being, I really like this group, I wonder what their new song is going to sound like. What other iteration of Tropical House are they going to explore? And it's hard. It's hard because I think it's always going to be hard with a co-ed group. Co-ed groups just don't have a great history, and so it's always going to be hard to pick a concept that's going to work for boys and girls. So they feel like Tropical House is one of those genres where anybody in the world can be a part of it. It doesn't sync with just girls. It doesn't sync with just boys. But they need more than that. They need more than that. And I think there is potential for co-ed groups. I think there is a potential for co-ed groups outside of the indie scene. Like, yes, Sunny Hill, those kind of co-ed groups we've had out there in the past, but I think you can do like a big company co-ed group. I think it's absolutely possible. I think the trick to doing a big company co-ed group, though, is that you have to define the group not based on the genre that they do, but like their vocal talents or their dance talent or whatever their individual talents are, and then make them coming together make sense. So if you have really difficult songs to sing and you want to dedicate the low notes to a particularly strong baritone in the group, or you want to dedicate the high notes to a particularly strong soprano in the group, if you could bring together a group where everybody in the group has a function that makes sense for it to be co-ed, absolutely 100% I think it could happen. Co-ed for co-ed's sake, I don't think works. And like when you look at indie artists, they're co-ed for a reason. You know, either they're co-ed because the guy does a lot of the songwriting and the girl hits a lot of notes that work with the kind of songs that are being written, but everyone has a function. They're not just there to be co-ed. You know, same thing with Akdong Musician. Akdong Musician works because each part of Akdong Musician has a function. Their voices are counterparts to one another. I don't think Card has necessarily mastered the concept of being counterparts to one another and making that man-woman vibe work. And it's so funny because some of my favorite K-pop songs are duets between men and women, you know, and for that reason alone, I feel like it would really be nice if you had a group that brought out that kind of sensual sonic feeling you get when you get a good Soyu duet, or you get a good Hyolyn duet, but make that a permanent group. That would be amazing. Or, you know, like a co-ed version of Bopolkan. I think that would do gangbusters. But that doesn't seem to be where companies are focused, and because of that, I think that the co-ed concepts they've come out with thus far haven't been successful for that very reason. You know, it can't be all about sex. You know, that's the reason I think also why Triple H kind of doesn't really hit the way they're supposed to hit. Because Triple H is all about the sex. It doesn't need to be about the sex. It needs to be about how it actually fits. So Aggie Brown says, I think that as long as the fandoms are groomed by companies to be the way they are, possessive and focused co-ed groups will not enter mainstream K-pop industry. And see, I think you can beat it. I think you can beat it because I think if you approach a co-ed group like you were approaching an IU, it could work. there are certain people in K-pop that work even though they technically probably shouldn't work. In an industry that's so focused on songs being a part of the latest genre, or people performing the slickest dances, you have people like Akmu, you have people like IU, you have these artists that are acknowledged as artists, but they're still K-pop because they're massively popular, because something they do on an artistic level syncs with the populace. And I think that if you approach a co-ed group with that in mind, not thinking, I want them to dance like this, or I want them to dress like this, or this year the concept is pink, so we're all wearing pink. If you approach it like, I have this group of an artist collective that I think would really work because their sound is like nothing anybody's heard before, then you can make it happen. And fans would get it. Like, international fans love IU. I don't know why, because she doesn't really check the marks other than being beautiful. But the talent is there, and it's undeniable, and it works. So I think it could happen. I really think it could happen. Okay. Let's go back a little bit. I remember you mentioned once that you bought NCT's album because you were celebrating that SM finally had some decent rappers. How do you feel about NCT now that it's been a few years? Do you feel SM's gamble paid off? Urban Zacapa is not K-pop, but they're awesome. You are right. So is Classic Y. They're awesome as well. Alex is one of my favorite singers. So there's co-ed and indie, and I think you can make it work on a K-pop level. It just has to be groomed the right way. I think that SM has made a grave mistake with NCT's marketing, and I think I talked about it on Jade's channel extensively. We were promised a certain approach to NCT that I think has become muddled over the last couple of years, and at this point I think it really has disconnected potential fans from the group. So if I recall, and my memory is shoddy because I'm an old lady, NCT was supposed to be this like regional thing. So like every country was going to get an NCT group, and they were all going to release the same song at the same time, made for the country. It was going to be a beautiful thing. SM was going to take over the world. Then we started getting like NCT, NCTU, NC127, NCT Dream, and it didn't seem like any of these subunits really fit in with what we were told the whole NCT concept was going to be. Then NCT releases music in Japan, and it's members of what I thought was the Korean unit. And it didn't make any sense to me because I'm like, I thought the whole thing was if we release a song in Japan, it's going to be all the Japanese trainees. If we release a song in China, it's going to be all the Chinese trainees. And granted, the NCT concept was announced before the Hallyu ban in China. But it's just been a really sloppy rollout. And because of that, it's been very difficult to connect with NCT in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of talent there. I saw them live and in person at the Korean Times Music Festival this past spring, and they work very hard on stage. They're earnest young men that are doing their best to catch friends and family, but they aren't comfortable on stage, and because their unit has so much flux here and there, I don't know if they'll ever be comfortable, to be quite honest with you. And it just, I say scrap it. I say scrap it. And I'm not saying that SM should fire the members of NCT from SM. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, instead of trying to make the NCT concept work the way it was originally presented, fuck all that. Just go ahead and do traditional groups like you've been doing, because those groups work for a reason. It's what we're used to. It's what you told us we were going to get in the beginning, and we want that. So why do you have to do it any different? You know, the whole thing with K-pop is you find a group, you like their sound, you buy their album, you like them some more, you buy their merchandise, you like them some more, you buy the next album sight unseen because you like them so much. It is a loyalty-based program. Absolutely 100%. And that's why as groups age, they can release albums less frequently, because the loyalty program has established a following that they can, in a lot of ways, retire on. To form a group, a concept that totally ignores the loyalty program that you have ingrained in fans for the better part of 20 plus years, that's insane. That's insane. It's counterintuitive and it's proven to be counterproductive. Just announce that NCT is no longer accepting new members and this is the squad. Take your NCT Dream and just knock off the NCT and call them Dream and keep on moving. Because at the end of the day, I don't think that they'll get any better if people keep thinking folks are going to get in and out, in and out, in and out. Because the loyalty program is what we're buying into. So let us continue to buy into the loyalty program. Okay, let's see what Aggie said here, because there's a lot there. NCT was made hoping to partially take over China, and then China blocked them. Now they're all just left to wander around South Korea and Japan, but their concept of music is just not that for anyway, really, or for anyone really. Funniest part to me is probably NCT Dream charting and having more recognition in Korean press and advertising than the official representative unit. I think NCT Dream, the reason why it works is because it hasn't added a bunch of members. Like, it's kind of stayed the same, and it's the loyalty program. It's the loyalty program. Also, I think NCT Dream kind of has a better concept to understand, like in terms of like style and stuff like that. Like, they're made to be kind of cute, fun, whatever. Whereas like NCT, I don't know what kind of clothes they're doing. I just don't understand. I don't understand a lot of things. That video with Tin and Taeyong with the waist trainers, I still don't get. But yeah, I really think that we could do better. I think we could do better. But we need to make it a solid unit. That's the only thing at this point that I think that they could save NCT with, is just announce that you're not having any new members. Don't add another single solitary person. That will save your group. Because people need to know who's in the fucking group. Like, flat out, I need to know who's in the group. Who am I standing for? Why are we making all these new friends? I can't remember all these names. So yeah, that's my story. That's how I feel. I'm sorry, I'm so mad. I'm so mad at SM because I really love SM. There's a lot of things that SM does really well that vibe with me, that hit my heart. And you know, my favorite K-pop group ever is on SM, and there's so much that group means to me, and there's so many different ways where that group has affected me on an emotional level, and it hurts my heart to see the label kind of floundering the way it is when I know what that label is capable of. I know the talent they're capable of producing. And I'm glad Mark is my bias as well, because he is quite stable. But yeah, I know what SM has been. And I want them to succeed. I want the house that SHINee helped to build stay afloat, because I want SHINee to have a home forever, or at least as long as SM will give them a home. And right now it doesn't feel good to me, it doesn't look good to me, and it makes me quite sad. It makes me sad that there's more groups that are missing members on SM than there are new groups that are complete. Sadness. Somebody asked me about Red Velvet's light stick. Red Velvet's light stick is ugly. I'm sorry. I really like Red Velvet. Let me put that disclaimer out there right away. I really like Red Velvet. Like, Red Velvet is like high-key my favorite girl group at this very moment. Everything they do, yes, give me more. Like, Perfect Velvet, perfect is in the name for a reason. That fucking album smacks. It is so good. And Bad Boy, great repackage. Cookie Jar, hashtag Cookie Jar, great Japanese entry into the market. Like, I really, really, really love Red Velvet. That light stick is bogus. It is so bad. All it is a ball with the letter R and the letter V written in cursive. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you disrespect them like that? Let's put it that way. And then NCT has got like a fucking mace for a light stick. It's just, come on. there are so many different things that Red Velvet has done, just like packaging wise. You could use any of the stuff from their concepts and pull something that means something. Fuck, why doesn't their light stick have like a fucking piece of cake on it or something? There's so much you could do, and you come up with this fucking lame ass RV in a bubble. It's just, and you know, we can make fun of Blackpink's light stick if you want to. That's fine, because it is a squeaky toy. However, at least Blackpink's light stick is affordable. Red Velvet's light stick is going to cost you, if you're an international fan, close to $50. You're going to pay $50 for a cursive R and a V. And I just, it's not for me. It's not for me. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it needs to be something else. It deserves to be something better. It deserves. Especially because they bring in so much freaking money for us, and you think that somebody in the development department would be like, you know what, maybe we should give them something beautiful because they are paying for all these desk chairs and computer monitors. So, yeah, there it goes. Cupcake my ass. It doesn't look like no fucking cupcake. If it was gonna look like a cupcake, it would look like a little poop on the top and then a little straight side. That's what a cupcake looks like. A cupcake doesn't look like a bubble on top of a long ass stick. So, So somebody asked about the new Red Velvet single. I've only heard it one time, and I remember being like surprised that was Red Velvet. I'm like, really? Not Red Velvet, G-Friend. Sorry, got mixed up. Asked me about the new G-Friend single. Heard the new G-Friend single. I don't have a problem with it. I really like the new G-Friend single sonically. Haven't watched the video, so I can't tell you if like they are doing some like wild, strange concept, because it's not something that I've had a chance to look at yet. But I mean, G-Friend, I'm always here for them doing something new because they are kind of stuck in a mold. So anytime they have a chance to branch off, I'm here for it. I haven't bought a G-Friend album though in forever, I can tell you that much. Like, I think the last G-Friend album I bought was the one right before Fingertips came out, Lots of Love. Haven't bought one since. Haven't felt compelled to, even though I still like Yuju. And her little solo song with Sudan, that song is so good. Have you guys heard that song? It is so nice. But I digress. Yeah, G-Friend, I love them in my mind, monetarily wise. I've been a little anemic when it comes to collecting them. You know, I like the old albums I have. I cherish them quite a bit, but buying their new stuff, I just haven't been as compelled to do so, and I probably won't be compelled to do so. I'd be surprised if you see me with a new G-Friend album anytime soon. Trying to think what else is kind of on the horizon. Oh, just general talk about SM light sticks. Shiny got the best one. Hey Jade, it's so weird to see Jade over here instead of over here because she's been here for a while, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, I just feel like Red Velvet deserved better. I've been listening to them quite a bit, and I'm thinking about buying their Time for the Moon Night album. Cool. You should. I think that G-Friend has a wonderful catalog, and I think that they're definitely worthy of standing, just because, like, for them to be the cute concept queens for so long, and for them to be so strong in that concept, it's stunning to me. It really is. Like, they kind of took over the lane that A-Pink had for a long time. Speaking of A-Pink, I really like A-Pink's new sound, the I'm So Sick. I think that sounds fantastic. I'm really glad to see them kind of mature in a way, you know, kind of embody their grown womanness, because they are all fully grown. So yeah, I'm here for new A-Pink. I love it. And it's not like a try-hard sexiness too, because I've seen that before, where a group is like, you know what, we need to do a new concept because our last one isn't working, so let's just, you know, take off all our clothes and grind on the floor. And that's not what they've done, and I really enjoy that. I like that they approached it in a way like, we're not going for like stellar levels of sexy. We're going for, you know, classy, sophisticated, but I also might be down for cocktails at my place. And so that's I'm happy for it. I'm here for it. Other new albums that I've checked out that I've liked, kind of, sort of, maybe. I really like Taeyeon's Something New, the lead song from her album. I'm not as fond of the whole album. There's like one other song on the mini album that I like, but Something New is like an anomaly. I almost feel like Something New is a song that should have been given to Red Velvet, almost. It doesn't match with the rest of the mini album, in my opinion, and it's so wildly different than what she's done before. But because I was listening to Something New, I went back and I listened to the deluxe version of My Voice. I think I might buy that because I'm not as fond of like the first maybe 7 songs on that album, but the second half of My Voice, the deluxe version, is wonderful. It's so good, and I did not expect to feel that way because when it comes to Taeyeon, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of on the fence, and I know you've been telling me to buy it for a while, Mason. I'm sorry, I'm hard-headed. I do what I want when I want. I didn't like I. The I album was not for me. The lead single was not for me. The B-sides were not for me. Wasn't for me. The Y album, I liked all except for one song, which I think is called Fashion. That song didn't do it for me, but the rest of the album I liked. Then I didn't really pay attention to My Voice because I didn't like I Got Love, and I didn't like the other single that came out with that release. So I'm like, well, since I don't like both of the lead title singles, I'm not going to like the album. Why would I bother? Then I heard Something New, and I really liked the song Something New, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to check out the album and see if I'm missing something here, because I enjoyed Why, so maybe she's gone back to that. Listen to the album, like I said. There's only one other song I really liked on it, but if I catch a deal on it, I might get it. Like, if I can catch it used for 12 bucks, I'll get it. 12 bucks shipped, by the way. I'll get it. But My Voice Deluxe, I might just have to get that outright. Like, I might just have to go ahead and pay real money for it because I really, really like it a lot. Like, the album. The album. Pentagon. Thoughts on Pentagon? Pentagon is a hard one for me. I like Shine. I don't love Edon and Wee's presence in Triple H. And other than Shine, I really haven't listened to anything by Pentagon. But I know that the one member of Pentagon wrote Energetic, and I actually like the sound of Energetic, which makes me feel like I need to re-examine Pentagon perhaps. But I don't know. Cube has really done a great job in ruining their company image to me, so I don't feel like I'm in a hurry. So I'll get to it when I get to it. But yeah, Cube and the way that they kind of just threw away everybody who had previously been on the label was so distasteful and just such a gross time in K-pop that I just really haven't wanted to support the label. And in order to, you know, support the artist, I'm supporting the label. I thought that the way they kind of just kept changing concepts every 5 minutes with CLC was a huge disservice to the group. I thought the disbandment of 4 Minute, the way it happened, was extremely distasteful and disrespectful. I really hated the way that the whole Hyunsung and Beast / Highlight thing happened, and the fact that they claimed the name, and it was so ugly, and it was like unnecessarily ugly. And because of that, I just hadn't wanted anything to do with Cube, even to the point that, like, I really liked Hyuna's following. A lot of people didn't like Babe. I liked Babe, even though she pronounced it Baby, but it's Babe. Anyway, I really liked the song. I liked the mini album, and I wanted to support it, but I don't want to support Cube, because Cube is just so fucking shitty in the way that they did all of that. And it continues to grind my gears. It continues to make me itch. I don't like it. And same thing with, like, G-Idol. Everybody really likes La Tata. You know, it's super popular, but I don't necessarily feel that way. And I don't know if it's because I still have this bitter feeling towards Cube, and so nothing they can do is right for me, or if it has everything to do with the fact that, you know, it's just not my thing. But yeah, I should get to know Pentagon. I should. But Cube can eat my ass. Hello. That's a terrible time to come into a conversation. Lifestyle wasn't as great as everyone hyped it. See, I didn't think Latata was as great either. And there was another song called Dollar that I heard that I wasn't as fond of either. I have the album here somewhere. I'm gonna listen to it eventually and then make up my mind from there. But like even the video for Latata, I didn't like the styling. Like the clothing styling was not for me. So yeah, I know I can overcome it, because if I can still support people on YG and not support YG, I could do it for Cube. I just don't feel as compelled to, because I didn't have as much of a link to Cube as I did to YG. Like YG had 2NE1 and Big Bang. I mean, it was just pretty impossible to overlook. Let's see. Keep going from here. I don't think I'm missing too much here. Yeah. Oh, and I always forget to talk about B2B. B2B is another group that, like, they were great in person, but I don't really check out a lot of their stuff because they become like ballad kings, and that's not what I'm looking for. Well, okay, I'll take it back. I really like ballads, but I like a certain style of ballad, and because of that, I don't really find myself gravitating towards B2B style of balladeering. I'm more of a R&B ballad person. So when I have that itch to scratch, I head over to my independents and my indie groups, and that's what I do. Oh, she asked if the stream has been good. No, it hasn't. It's been terrible. I've been kicked off like 3 times already. It's just awful. I don't know what my life has become. Luna. Okay. I'm going to speak very briefly about Luna because there's a lot of people in my life who absolutely stan Luna. And then there's me who's kind of like, they're all right. That's cool. I like that okay. So there have been moments with Luna when I was like, that is outstanding. I would like to be a part of that. That is great stuff. I should buy. I should collect. It's wonderful. But then there is the whole kind of culture behind the debut. I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like a cult, really. Like when people fall into the Luna rabbit hole, they fall in. I cannot tell you how many times with my friends I have laughed over eBay listings of Luna photo cards, copies of limited edition CDs. And when I say like limited edition, I don't mean like comes with 15 photo cards and a big old book and comes with like all kinds of other crazy stuff. When I say limited edition for Luna, I mean like basically the cover has a different color. Ooh. And it makes it hard in a lot of ways, because I've always been the kind of person that when I'm confronted with like a large entrenched fandom, I kind of want to get to know it a little bit, but if the fandom seems a little bit too robust, a little bit too kind of voracious, I tend to pull back a little bit because I'm not prepared to get myself sucked in like that. You know, I am a casual fan of a lot of things, but you know, it seems like Luna's fucking everywhere, and the things that get people excited are things that just aren't excited to me. Like if a teaser has a photo of a moon and maybe a couple of guitar licks behind it, I'm like, bitch, 12 is coming out. Like I'm not that person. I'm not that person. And it's just, it's hard to enjoy it from the outside. And it's not appealing to me to want to become one of the people on the inside. And I will just relate this kind of personal story to you because I think this kind of sums up how I feel about Luna in a way that hopefully you'll understand why I'm not as into it. There is an individual who collects Luna. And it's somebody that, you know, I really have followed on YouTube and, you know, had a couple dealings in real life with, that I think is a genuinely nice person. But when that person started collecting Luna, it kind of made it seem like being a fan of Luna, collecting Luna, and standing Luna was not about the qualities of the group themselves. It was about the fact that Luna is got all this rare stuff. And it was about being the first on the scene. And it was about being able to say you're an early adopter. Okay, I know exactly what to compare it to. The early days of the iPhone users. That's exactly what Luna is to me. In the early days of the iPhone, the whole culture of like standing in line to be the first one to have it in your hand and being the first one to be able to be a part of stuff and like, you know, just really intensely following when's the next version gonna come out. I can't wait for the day when Apple announces what the new updates are and all this stuff. Whereas I genuinely just want a cell phone. That's all I want. I just want a cell phone. And that's what it feels like as an outsider looking at Luna culture. It's like these people are fucking obsessed with what is literally just a phone. And I can't get into it. I want to get into it, but I can't get into it. Not only that, but like the sheer volume of releases. Every single release is like 2 copies, then the subunit, and then the special unit, and then there's this limited edition, and it's just like it's all too much. It's all too much. I'm a casual fan. I'm a multi-fan. I keep up with enough stuff. I can't keep up with all that. So I'm just going to show you a couple of Luna purchases that I have that I made recently that I'm happy with, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't get the hype. So, second. It's because I'm old. It's because I'm old and bones creak. Okay, so I have here Kim Lip, and I have this limited edition Youth by Young. So Kim Lip was out of print for a long time. I wanted it because I really liked Eclipse. Bought it during the reprint. I'm very happy to have it. There's only 2 songs on here. This shit is $15. But again, like I said, I really liked Eclipse. So I was glad to have it. Now let me tell you the story about this little bitch right here. I liked the song. And, well, I liked the teaser for the song. I should put it that way. I liked the teaser for the song. So I went on to K-Pop Market. Yes, K-Pop Market. I pre-ordered this thing. They didn't ship it to me until like a week after it came out because the limited edition got sold out, but like a lot of companies, I guess, over pre-ordered it or something. So they did a second run for this. And I recall seeing that some people were quite upset that this particular limited edition had such a big run, because the whole thing is that the limited edition should be worth a couple of $100 because they are so limited. And if I was going to sell this, I would sell it for maybe 15 bucks. Like I wouldn't go crazy on it because that's what I paid, is what it is. But that kind of flurry of activity and focus on the rareness and everything else, I can't deal with it. It's too much. I like have real bills to pay. So there you go. Let's see what some of the comments are because they've been moving super duper fast. Make more money. Yeah, so I get that Luna's company needs to make their money back because, I mean, they're flying people to Russia to make music videos and all kinds of other stuff. So, you know, it is what it is. But I'm not going to be taken advantage of. I'm not going to be taken advantage of like that. And I just don't feel the compulsion to be so caught up in that. Okay. Yeah, who is funding BlackBerry? Because I mean, those people have spent a ton of money. It's insane how much money they've spent and how many copies of things that they're printing. And I don't know. Let's see what happens when the actual group comes out. I'm interested to see what the actual whole Luna group will be like. One positive thing I will say about releasing a group the way that they've done it, for people who follow Luna, I know you know all the names because you bought all these albums. You better know the names. There shouldn't be anybody in that group be like, who's that again? What's her name again? You should know the names. You've had plenty of time to get to know the names. But yeah, you know, I like Luna's songs. I really do. I like their songs. I'm not caught up in the hype train that way. Speaking of the hype train, this is something that I'm sure only about like 2% of you that are watching this can relate with. So I buy CDs from a lot of different places, a lot of different sources. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I'll buy a CD used every once in a while. Sometimes I like an album, but I don't really want to purchase it when it first came out. I don't necessarily want to buy it brand new, or sometimes an album is sold out and the only option is to get it used. And it just so happened fairly recently I bought a used version of Zico's special edition of his Gallery album. Really like it, glad I have it, everything's all good. I bought it from a seller on Facebook, from a selling group on that does K-pop selling on Facebook. And I was looking at the prices of some of the other stuff on there because I'm like, well, maybe there's some other stuff that I've been wanting for a while but I haven't really had a chance to get to. Maybe I'll find some deals. And I noticed a lot of people selling used K-pop albums for like brand new prices. And I don't understand that. Like literally somebody selling, I don't know, let's just pretend selling this album, imagining it in good condition, talking about I would like $15 plus you have to pay shipping. And I don't understand what people think when they're buying used CDs. See you later, Alex. But I'm not buying a used CD so you can recoup all of your money. I'm buying a used CD because I want to save myself some money. If I wanted to pay $15 for your album, I'll pay $15 to a company who's going to give me a brand new sealed album with photo card. I'm not going to buy your used CD with no photo card for fucking $15 plus shipping. It's not going to happen. And I see it all the time. And I just wonder, like, what are people thinking when they do this? Like, what is the rationale behind that? I understand sometimes when you have something that's super rare. If you have something that's super rare, you're entitled to a bit of a markup because that's the way economics works. Rarity, scarcity drives demand. But if we're talking about a GOT7 CD, used, no photo card, I don't expect to pay more than $12 for it, shipped. Real talk. Unless it's like a huge bulky album that cost you $30, then we can talk about me paying maybe $25. But I do not at any part of my mind feel like you're entitled to get all of your money back from me. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know if it's driven by people who believe that because they had such a hard time finding the albums that they're entitled to maybe some kind of compensation for bringing it over to the United States. But baby, there are so many avenues for buying brand new K-pop now that you don't have to stress. If you weren't buying K-pop on eBay before, you buy it on Amazon now. You're buying it on import CDs. You're buying it from Choice Music. You're buying it from Music Plaza. You're buying it from K-Town Free. You're buying it from Ketchup CD. There are so many options for getting these things. Why in the fuck would I pay you what you paid? Especially if you've pulled the photo card. Like, then for real, why would I pay you what you paid? Absolutely not. Because not only have you pulled out what's at least half of the value of the album, if not more, but here I am, if I actually wanted a photo card, I'm going to have to go out and find it and then pay additional money for that. You've got me wholesale fucked up. It's not happening. And that's why I say maybe only about 2% of you can relate to this, but it has really been getting on my fucking nerves for the longest time that people have the audacity to sell an album without a photo card for $15. Like, who are you talking to? What are you talking about? Oh, my thing is saying the battery is running low, so I have to plug it in. So if you see me bending around and stuff, that's just me trying to keep things going. Oh, I guess that's as far as it'll go. Oh no! I'm gonna have to move the camera a little bit, guys. Bear with me. If I don't move it, then we have to stop. The CEO is rich. The CEO of BlackBerry, is that what that is? I'm trying to follow a conversation that I'm a part of. Wow, my attention to things these days. I really am getting into my oldest of age. Sorry about that, guys. I'm maneuvering a lot of things here. I'm putting in the electric source. Do we have power? Did that work? It says make sure the charger is properly connected. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Things are falling apart for me. Oh, well, that's the reason why it wasn't properly connected, because I literally just unplugged it. You guys, I'm an old lady. Electronics, they bypassed me a long time ago. I think that's it. Did that work? Yay! We're plugged in. All right, awesome. That was an adventure. That was an adventure. Okay, let's see here. Comments. I think that's why I've been avoiding used album. Maybe straight out by the new one and keep it moving. But then again, I'm a bit picky for certain groups. I only buy new stuff for Shiny. Also others as well. Yeah, I think their budget $4 million. Ooh, I feel like they've already spent that $4 million. Yeah, so that was just my little rant about like the used CD community. I don't mind paying for things. Like I'm not a cheap ass. I don't mind paying for things. I'm totally fine with giving you what you deserve. It's just, it is used. Cut me a deal, sis. Come on. You know. And you know what makes me even more kind of upset about that? I sometimes think that the reason why people price their CDs so high is because they're anticipating a bit of negotiation, like people saying, well, I'll give you 8 for it, or I'll give you 10 for it, whatever. And so then when you price things at a reasonable rate, people then turn around and try to haggle you over a reasonable rate. Like if I wanted to sell you a CD for $7 shipped, oh, well, can you make it 5? Bitch, are you kidding me? I'm offering you $7 shipped. Shipping in and of itself starts at $2.66. You're basically buying this album for less than $5. And you still want me to cut you a deal? Never mind the fact that I have to provide the bubble wrap. I have to provide the box, bag, whatever the hell I'm shipping it in. So I've got packing materials I'm paying for. You're almost getting the CD for $3. But then you want to argue with me about the fact that I actually want money from you? What kind of world do we live in? So yeah, those are the things that annoy me, for sure. So let's see here. What are your thoughts on the people on eBay charging ridiculous amounts for Jongyun items? Okay, so let me tell you about the things that I feel are fair and the things that I feel are unfair. When Jongyun first passed away and people wanted $30, $40, $50 for the She Is album, that was unfair. When they wanted that much for Story Up, that was unfair. Especially because, I mean, for those who are not educated in the way that the cycle works, they probably weren't aware that SM was going to hurry up and reprint all those things because they're not going to miss a marketing opportunity. But there are things that I think make a lot of sense that they would cost more because they're never going to be printed again, and it's for somebody who no longer is in the mortal realm. So, for instance, if you have the postcard set from his last album, or you have the kazoo from the last album, or you have that limited edition LP for Story Up, you deserve to get funds for that because you're not going to be able to get it again. But then you have people who, like I said, took advantage of things that really should be regularly priced. And they've jacked them up to the point that you can't offer an explanation for it. It's just like you're just a greedy individual. You're a greedy person, and I hope that you get athlete's foot. But like I said, there are some things I do understand. I think about Jongyun all the time. I really do. I'm not trying to get like melancholy here, but I think about him all the time. I think about him because I think about Shiny's last comeback, and I think about how much I miss his voice. I think about how warm I felt the first time I heard Lock You Down. I think about what it's meant to be a Shawwal prior to Jonghyun's death, and what it is about that group that made me stand them so much. Out of all the groups I could have been in love with, I started my standum life with the two groups that gave me the most, Big Bang and SHINee. And while my love for Big Bang definitely has cooled over the years, I still love them, but you know, I'm not as invested monetarily in them as I used to be. But knowing how I feel about SHINee, knowing how I feel about the music, and thinking about why that music affects me so much. I mean, I can't hide the fact that a large part of it is just the sound of Jonghyun's voice. Like, his voice is something so rare and so special. And the interactions of those five together, something so intimate for me. Like, when I watch them, like, I just feel like I'm watching old friends. And losing him, I've enjoyed watching SHINee on Variety. I've enjoyed listening to the songs. I've enjoyed the group because they're still SHINee. But I do feel like there's something missing. I do feel like there's something missing because that sound is not the same sound. And I wonder if I'll ever really get over that. Because, I mean, like I said, I still appreciate it. I still pay for it. I still love it. But hearing Lock You Down as the last song of this set, I felt like, okay, the comeback really is complete now. Like, I don't need a repackage or anything else. I feel like the comeback is complete because that's what SHINee sounds like. That song is what SHINee sounds like. And I want to get to a point in my life where OT4 is what I associate SHINee sounding like. But I don't know how I'll get there. I don't know when I'll get there because my heart is still OT5 biased. So, yeah. It's something I think about all the time. I really do. I think about it all the time. Along with, you know, the harder thoughts of everything that Jonghyun has missed out on. All the things that I hear music-wise that I feel like he would enjoy. Like, I listened to the last Crush album, and I thought about Jonghyun would have been really excited to hear this. I think about Sade's having to come back soon, and I thought about Jonghyun would have been really pleased to hear that. I bet he would have gone to her concert. Like, I keep thinking about this life that I think he would have, and I don't feel bad for thinking those thoughts. I don't feel bad for him being ever present, but I do feel bad for not being able to fully embrace OT4 as the new norm. Even though I think that if you're going to buy any of the albums, this is the one to buy. I think this one, OT4, sounds the best on the B-sides. But yeah, I don't know. It's something I constantly struggle with. It's something I constantly struggle with. Flat out. And I don't know when that's going to change. I have no idea. I'm supposed to film my SHINee collection soon. I was gonna maybe take some time this coming weekend to film what I've got and talk about things a little bit. And every time I think about filming my SHINee collection, it's like something inside of me is just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And it's not because I have any ill feelings towards my collection. I'm proud of what I have. It's not the biggest, it's not the best, but it's mine, and I earned every bit of it. But I'm afraid to confront my feelings on SHINee by filming their collection. I'm afraid of confronting the grief I still hold, and everything else, because SHINee just means so much to me. And I don't know, going back through the catalog, it drums up all those feels, and I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready. I want to do it. I just don't know if I'm ready to do it. I hope that none of you ever have to go through this. Like, seriously, if SHINee's not your bias group and you have a different bias group, I hope you never have to go through an experience like this. It's devastating on so many levels. It changes everything, and like I said, I just don't know when I'll ever get to the point where the new normal actually is the new normal. I don't see that coming anytime soon. Oh, I'm such a Debbie Downer. Let's talk about other fun stuff. Find other fun stuff for me to talk about, because I'm just sitting here sad. Yeah, I unwrapped Youngin's last album. I listened to Poet Artist. It's a beautiful album. Like, it is really, really good. It sounds just like him. Like, it's totally his style. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about EXO. Because I haven't talked about EXO in so long, and I feel bad. Oh, any new groups I'm interested in? Yeah, I think I'm interested in some new groups. I've recently become kind of interested in UNB. I don't know why. Just something happened, and I was like, who is this? So I've become interested in them. I think I might buy their first album. Not so sure about the second, but I think I might buy the first. I did not finish watching The Unit, which is shame on me, because that's Rain's show and I should have supported him fully. But I think I'm going to start buying UNB. I really like their sound. And also, Bora's boyfriend needs some money. I'll give him some. He needs to be able to take her on expensive dates. Favorite album of the year so far? That is a tough one. I mean, I've bought albums this year for sure, but I've bought a whole bunch of old stuff in 2018, so I'm really not sure what my favorite album of the year has been, because I bought so much older stuff. So it's... What has been my favorite album this year? Probably no, because that came out last year. I don't know. That's a tough question. I don't know. Probably my favorite album this year is going to be some sort of K-hip-hop thing, because that's what I'm into. The minute that Dean's album comes out, if it comes out this year, then that's going to be my favorite album of the year. Like, it won't matter what else comes out. That's going to be my favorite thing. So just put that as an asterisk, an ampersand, whatever needs to be put next to it. If Dean comes out with anything in 2018, that will be my favorite album of the year. Let's talk about EXO. So, you guys, I don't know. It's like the K-pop don't want me to talk about EXO, because I'm not going to say the most nice things. I'm not going to say anything bad about EXO. I'm just not going to say the most nice things about EXO. So, something happened with me and EXO right around the time of the Lotto album. The Lotto album came out, and I just was unimpressed with the lead single, Lotto. I thought that the repackaged songs were good, and I liked Exact as an album, but I didn't like Lotto. It was one of the first EXO songs in a long time as a lead song that I was super unimpressed with. Like, the last time I felt that way about an EXO lead single was with Wolf, and that is a long time ago. But yeah, I kind of was out of it. And then it seemed like Lay wasn't a part of the group anymore, and I had two biases in EXO: Kyungsoo and Lay. And so having Lay not really be a presence in EXO that much, Kyungsoo's doing dramas all the time, so he's in it, but he's not really in it. And then Cocoa Bob was not a favorite single for me. It was not bad, but it had that EDM drop, which, what the hell? Really, in the 2000 aughts we're doing EDM drops? No. And then Power? No. No, not no. And so you have 2 albums plus a Christmas album. They're all fine in terms of like B-sides. Well, okay, I'll say Universe is not my favorite, but For Life is actually really good. You have albums back to back with lead singles I'm not being able to stick with. And one of my favorite members is not in the group. And it just felt like I couldn't relate. So now we're on the cusp of a comeback, and people have been saying there may be OT9, may not be, don't know. But I really want this comeback to bring me back to EXO the way that I need to come back to EXO, because there are a lot of great memories caught in my heart for EXO. Like, I was one of the few people who loved Exact. Like, I remember thinking, like, this is the shiny album I needed. But yeah, I loved Exact. I loved all the songs. I thought it was so good. Exodus was a great album. Even the repackaged Love Me Right was great. And I've had my moments with older EXO stuff that I'm like, yes, completely. EXO is actually one of the few K-pop groups that their ballads make me happy. But I still am not kind of over the Lay thing. And again, I don't know if it's just because SM is experimenting a whole bunch. The lead singles haven't been strong enough for me. They really haven't. And I know people love Power, but for me, in my taste, I need another Monster. I need another Call Me Baby. Not necessarily like copies. I don't want them to fall into the card trap, but I'm just saying I need them to come out with something that grabs me as strongly. And until there's evidence of that sonically, I don't know. I mean, I'm caught up with my EXO collection for the most part. Like, I don't collect Chinese anymore because, like I said, I never listened to the Chinese albums, so that's why I don't collect. But Korean wise, I've got pretty much everything for EXO main. I don't have subunit EXO, so I don't have any of the CXB albums. I've thought about getting them, but I haven't. But I've got Romantic Universe. I've got Universe. I've got For Life. So I've got the winter albums that I didn't have on camera before. I've got Cocoa Bop, and I've got Power or The War. So I mean, I'm there with them. I'm not ever going to start collecting Japanese again. My last Japanese album was Love Me Right Romantic Universe. Never again. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I really care for EXO in a deep way. So I've made it no secret here. The name Shallow 360 actually started back when I used to write shiny fan fiction on asianfanfics.com. And because of fan fiction, that's how I got to know EXO. It's funny, like, I knew EXO's music, but I really couldn't name the members, like their faces and stuff. And so I was reading a lot of like 2men fiction, and they would always have Kai pop up in that. And then it was Kaisu was like the big pairing. So then I was like, okay, so I'm going to start reading some Kaisu. And then by reading Kaisu, you end up with Baekhyul, and you end up with all these other ships. And that is how I got to know EXO. And after getting to know them, that's when I'm like, okay, let me go back and look at the music one more time, because Mama was not a great song for me. What Is Love was actually, I've always liked What Is Love. To this day, I've always thought it was good. And I thought History was okay. But I didn't think that the mini album Mama was all that strong. Then they come out with Oof. And I'm totally lost. I'm like, what is this? what is this? And it kind of made me not even listen to the album. So then Growl comes out, and it's a game changer. Like, everything is different now, and I'm like, yes, okay, cool, shades of what I saw with What Is Love, finally getting it, let's get into it. Bought Growl. It was a good thing that I did that. And then we end up with I think Overdose was next, and Overdose was just so powerful, so strong. And after that I was like, yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it all. Give me albums. I love it. But like I said, it's just somewhere around the time of Leia not really being as involved and Lotto being as weird as it was, things just got lost for me. And I want to come back to it. I want to come back to it. There's a lot that I love in EXO, and I want to come back home to it. Like, The Answer, easily probably in my top 5 of K-pop ballads. I just love that freaking song. So I want to love the group again. I need them to help me fall back in love with them, because there's a lot of love there. We're just, I don't know, we're like an old married couple at this point. Like, even if I don't care for the things you do, I remember why I fell in love with you, so I'll always love you, but I need you to bring the romance back to our life. So there's that. There was some mention about SM's new girl group. I hope that SM's new girl group is a big girl group. I hope it's kind of like, you know, Twicey, Girls' Generation-y. Like, I want a big girl group. I do. I want a big girl group from SM, because I don't want Red Velvet to have another like small girl group on the label kind of taking up their space, because we've seen what happens when you have a girl group on your label who's about the same size. All of a sudden people forget the old ladies and they start remembering the young girls. And that was completely in reference to FX. But I don't want to see SM's new girl group be a carbon copy of Girls' Generation. I want them to be something special, unique, all their own. I want them to be like, I don't want them to be girl crush, because I don't necessarily think that that's what they need. I think that I want them to be Nation's little sister, first lovey, but not in schoolgirl costumes. I kind of want them to start out in a way that makes them obvious that they're from SM, but they're not the SM that you're thinking of. You know, like I want good production. I want the stereotypes writing songs for them, absolutely. But I want them to give K-pop something that they're not used to. And I think that's really the only way to redeem SM at this point, is that they have to totally break the formula loose and rearrange it and give people something that they've never had. Like, I think that they need a really catchy, kind of cheerleader-esque chanty song to be a part of their debut. Like, I think they need to start their debut with like a really pretty song that shows they can sing, and then all of a sudden their actual like debut song is like a hand clapping, you know, strong refrain song, like almost like a Taylor Swift Shake It Off type song. Not saying, because you know I'm not a Swiftie, but just saying, like, I want that for them. And I don't know how they're going to get it. I don't know how SM is going to pull it off, but they need to do something that makes it clear that this girl group is not in Twice's lane. They're doing their own thing. They're not in Red Velvet's lane. They're doing their own thing. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, when I said that Red Velvet kind of took over for FX, I mean, there's so much content out there that could have been meant for FX that didn't happen for them, that I think went to Red Velvet. Like, and not like current Red Velvet. Current Red Velvet is a totally different beast than FX. But I think definitely early Red Velvet, there was some conceptual stuff there that was probably meant for FX that I would like to have seen them do that end up going to Red Velvet. Do I think FX is ever going to come back with another comeback? Probably not. I think that FX is not going to come back, because I don't even think that FX is interested in coming back, to tell you the honest truth. As much as SM isn't ready to like spend any money on FX at this point, because they make money with Victoria's Chinese stuff, and they make money with Crystal's acting, and Luna's beautiful, and Amber's out here. I don't think that SM really cares about bringing back FX, and I don't even think that the members of FX are really too keen on doing FX. You know, because I feel like as you get older, and this is just a personal thing, I feel like as you get older, you get less and less comfortable being told what to do. And being a part of FX in the early days, I think that everything that groups do is because the marketing department said, this is what it is, do it. And as you get older, you want less of that. You want more of your ideas being shown, your input being out there, doing things that you enjoy. And when you've got 4 individuals who've kind of mastered different arenas, trying to come together and find a concept that suits everybody's taste, that everybody wants to perform every single day for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I think it gets harder and harder to do as groups get older. And it's obvious that what Amber wants is wildly different than what Victoria wants, which is wildly different than what Crystal wants, which is wildly different than what Luna wants. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's really easy or even comfortable for them to be FX, because all of them have to give up a big portion of themselves to be a member of FX. So if it was any different, if there was any possibility for FX to be FX and still Amber be Amber and Luna be Luna and Crystal be Crystal and Victoria be Victoria, then yeah, they probably would come and do a comeback together. But they're just not on the same page at all. And I think that that's what makes it impossible for them to even drum up the internal support for SM to justify putting money behind them. Like, have you been listening to any of Amber's mixtape stuff? It's stuff that I would never want to hear on an FX album. And I'm not saying that to be rude to her. I just mean, like, as a person who's listened to FX albums, the only Amber song that I've ever wanted to hear for them was Goodbye Summer. I don't want to hear any of the stuff that's on her mixtape on their album at all. And I don't necessarily think that what Victoria would come out with would work for me in terms of FX, you know? Luna, I think that Luna's solo, I could see some of that style working in an FX comeback. But yeah, like, I don't see it. I don't see it. And so at this point, you know, thanks for the memories. Thank you. But I don't think I'm there. I don't think I'm there. Hopefully they will get like a goodbye ballad. Maybe, you know, since Goodbye and Annyeong and those titles have been taken, maybe theirs will just be called Adios. But we'll see. We all know that Amber is angry overall. I mean, Amber might be angry, but she doesn't have anybody to blame for her anger, in my opinion. Like, you know, when I think about Amber, and I have very unpopular opinions about Amber, super unpopular, but I'm just going to put it out there. When I think about Amber, I think Amber is more mad at herself than really she is at SM. And I think she's more mad at herself because I think as Amber has gotten older, she's understood kind of who she is, and maybe she realizes that who she is and the way she was presented with FX and everything, those are two identities that run counterintuitive. And I think she's tried to get SM to embrace her version of herself, and SM has done it in small ways, but at the same time they're like, I don't think the Korean public is ready for this. We really kind of want you to do this thing here. And Amber has been upset about that because she's like, I'm an artist. I should be allowed to express myself. And Essem's like, but we're a company and we're publicly traded and this is what we do. We manage images and careers. And so I think that when it comes to FX, Amber's upset, but the only person she really has to be upset is at herself, because she could have made up her mind at some point to be like, I'm not going to renew, I'm not going to have anything to do with SM anymore, I'm out. But she stayed in, and she realized that SM is not going to change. They're still going to look at you the way they've always looked at you, and no matter how many tattoos you get, no matter how closely you trim your hair, they're always going to want you to be the Amber that fits into the FX mold. And you were a fool to decide to re-sign in the thought that you were going to get to be anything other than what you've always been in FX. So, yeah. I think she's more mad at herself than she is them. And I think that's the reason why in recent interviews she's kind of been like, we're all on our own, doing our own thing. We're all kind of riding our own horse. I think she said that because I think she's starting to come to that realization now that, yeah, it is what it is, you know. But we'll see what happens. I find Amber's solo stuff to be incredibly boring. Again, more unpopular opinions. I feel like Amber's a good person. I really do. I feel like Amber's a good person, but she just is incredibly boring. Like, paint dry boring. And it's an annoying boring because it's like, I'm so quirky and I'm so fun and I embrace everything and I'm so Tumblr certified, but you are still mind-numbingly boring. Yeah, she didn't have to renew in 2016. You know, if SM is treating you so bad, do not renew. Go do it on your own. But that's not what she decided to do. So that's why I say I think she's more mad at herself than she's at SM. She's mad at herself. But whoever the new girl group is, I just want them to have something like super, super different. Super, super different. Something that will save SM, hopefully. Because SM needs saving in a big way. I mean, Red Velvet can't do all the heavy lifting. Somebody else is going to have to help with that. Even though, you know, they're doing a great job of it. I really, really enjoy Red Velvet. I mean, I didn't expect to feel this way so late. I didn't expect in my old age to find new love, but I have. And it's Red Velvet, and I love them dearly. And I just am so happy for them. I'm so happy for them and their growth, and they have so many things that I love in so many little different pockets that it's just, ugh. It just brings a chill to me. It just makes me so happy. Like, I am probably one of maybe 5 people. No, I take that back. I'm one of 6 people on Earth who probably like Red Velvet's, oh, fuck. Can't even think about it now. The Velvet. Almost nobody liked the Velvet, but I do. I do. I'm trying to read the comments, but they're moving so fast. Oh, okay, somebody else does love the Velvet too. Okay, because I love the Velvet. I think it's so great, but I feel like I'm the only one. Slipping into the same res. You know, I could see Red Velvet ending up like FX if Irene and Joy get too popular for the group. Like, if Joy and Irene get too popular for the group, then I could see Red Velvet being neglected. But as long as they still have a strong presence in the group, I think things will be okay. Because I think it didn't help FX to lose Sully. It didn't help for Crystal to get fairly popular with her acting. It didn't help for Victoria to be so in demand overseas. And so with those things being a part of it, yeah, it was going to be difficult for FX to survive because there were so many other lucrative interests pulling people away. But there's a lot of money to be made in Red Velvet still. And as long as Irene and Joy feel like they're being adequately compensated, then I think we'll be all right. But if they get to the point where, like, I make so much money on dramas or I make so much money in CFs, then I don't think that the group could survive. And then also, it depends on how well Solgi's solo does. Not that it's been announced or anything, but like if Solgi's solo comes out and it does really, really well, I think that would affect the group in a big way too. Like a huge way. Because Solgi is my bias in the group. I thought it was Wendy because I really like Wendy's voice. But Solgi is one of those people that, like, you really just can't stop watching her. Like, she pulls your eyes in. And I just feel like if she pulls a Taemin on Red Velvet, it might be over. It might be over. So we'll see what happens. I agree, Mason, Wendy should be out there singing OSTs. I think that's what she's good at. Me and Mason had the privilege of going to the Korean Times Music Festival together this year, where Wendy was a host for the show, and Siri from the iPhone could have hosted that show better than Wendy. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to be mean to her. I'm saying that, like, robotic. She just, you get nothing from her. Like, she is vanilla, she is paper, she is bland. And it just sucks because you would think that with her being so emotive vocally, that some of that would trickle into her kind of banter on stage. Not at all. Not at all. And that is crazy to me. And I think that's why she's out here saying, like, outlandish, wild stuff, because she's so damn boring that she's like, okay, well, I do this funny kind of black girl impression, so I'll pull that out on Variety because I don't have anything else to talk about. Anything else. Like, my gosh. I just think about that all the time. Like, she could tell any other story on television. She could talk about anything else, but she's awkward. She's awkward. She's awkward, man. She's awkward. But Solgi, on the other hand, she's stunning. Like, you just can't help it. You just want to hear sounds come out of her mouth. It doesn't really matter what she says. You just want to hear sounds come out of her mouth because you can't stop looking at her. She's got charm. She's got animal magnetism. So, Wendy says she wants to go into indie music. I guess Wendy could go into indie music. I mean, there's some kind of boring acts there that she could fit in well with. Her song with Eric Nam was cute, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I thought that Wendy's ad-libs for Kingdom Come were so good. Like, if I could take whatever Wendy was doing during that recording and inject that into her kind of regular personality type, that's who I want to see. That's who I would pay to watch. But that's not who it is. It's like she's one person on a record, a totally different person when she's not on a record. And I don't know how she can channel that energy across the board. Whereas Solgi, I feel like she carries her energy across the board. So we'll see what happens. Any more questions? Any more topics of discussion? I'm giving it to you. I'm here. So let's just talk. I think this is the most people I've had watch one of my live streams in a hot minute. Like, for real. Thoughts on Eric Nam? Oh, Eric Nam. Okay, cool. I'll address CL in a minute, but Eric Nam, I liked Honesty, and I'm glad that he's kind of going more into the K-indie lane. I think it suits him. I think Eric's a good kid, but I think that his former label, that's all that they had for him was like, you're a good kid. And I think what he deserved is, you're a talented kid, and they should have capitalized on that. Like the song that he did with Tableau and Gallant, I thought that song was great, and I was like, he's in his lane. This is perfect for him. But I just feel like his last label didn't know what to do with him. His last label didn't know what to do with him, and now that he's kind of doing what he was meant to do, it works on every level, and I can't wait to see more from him. Okay, so let's talk about CL. There's nothing more to be said about CL that hasn't been said. That hasn't already been said. Okay, you're right. A lot of the stuff I could say about CL, people have said already, so there's no need to rehash that. But I will say this, because I don't think a lot of people have talked about it, even though they've talked about it. Okay, so CL, recently people were like, CL is leaving YG, and she's like liking all these responses from people who are like, girl, I'm so glad you're leaving, da 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 da, but there hasn't been any like real announcement. But what I don't think a lot of people have actually talked about is, what is CL's life without YG at this stage in the game? Because it's one thing to be like, you should leave YG so you can do all this fun stuff. YG's holding you back. He's not promoting you. But let's just say CL leaves YG and she's out here. What are we doing with that? What are we, like, really, what are we doing with that? CL without YG, unfortunately, loses a lot. CL under YG has access to Jeremy Scott, has access to stage passes to runway shows, has access to all of these different industry connects, because for better or for worse, YG opens those doors. How he does it, I have no idea, but you know, GD's not modeling for Chanel just out of thin blue air. There's connections there, and YG has made sure that those connections are tied with his label, that they don't stick with just one artist. Now, GD is probably one of the few people who could leave YG and all those connections would be intact. But if CL left YG, I can't really say that all of those connections would be left intact. And obviously those connections are flimsy at best, because I talked about this on Jade's channel, I believe. When CL apparently was rumored to have not received any assistance from YG for her performance at the Olympics, that apparently she had to do all of her own styling and dressing and everything else, I remember thinking, like, but you're in photos with fashion people all the time, like constantly, 24/7. You're always being photographed at somebody's backstage or somebody's industry party. You mean you couldn't call any of those friends to come and help you out? There was nobody in the industry. Night night. There was nobody that could have hooked you up and made this work and made you look like you're not trying to be Stevie Nicks. So for that not to have been a thing makes me believe that CL without YG loses the cachet of CL-ness. And I really worry about, what can she do? What will she be able to do without YG, without his connections, without his help, without his assistance, without his input, without the things that come with being a part of this flagship kind of luxury brand. And you know, if people have proven to be fake while you're still on the label, what are you going to do when you're not on the label? And those are the things that I wonder about and I worry about and I'm concerned about. What is a CL without a Teddy? What is a CL without, you know, Jeremy Scott? What is a CL without all of these things that we've come to associate with CL? Bye! It was nice to see you. But yeah, until that question can be answered, I can't really say that leaving YG is the best thing for her. I think she should leave YG for her own peace of mind. But yeah, I don't know what a CL outside of YG looks like. And I don't think a lot of people have really talked about a way for her to escape and keep herself intact. And I think that's important. I think that's important for people to discuss and understand in order for anything good to happen for her. Is what is her escape? What is her exit plan? What is her exit plan? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There was something somebody wrote a moment ago that I missed. Oh, DPR Live. That's what I want to talk about. I don't know what the dates are for DPR Live's tour. I need to figure that out first because I need to figure out whether or not I can go. I want to see DPR Live. I think it's a great time. I think it'll be awesome. I really like DPR. I have both of his albums. So, yeah, I'm totally interested. But I'm supposed to go to Fort Worth on the 15th of September to go see BTS. And I'm still waiting to see if anybody else is coming before the end of the year that I need to be trying to fly out to see. And so that's why I'm kind of concerned about whether or not I'll be able to see DPR, because it depends on like how last minute the tour is going to be, where it's going to be, how much flying out I'm going to need to do. So those are the things that concern me about going to a DPR Live concert. Otherwise, I would tell you I'd be there in a heartbeat, but I can't promise that because I really don't know what obligations I have. And if it's anything close to like Christmas time, I'm out because, I mean, I'm a parent, so I got to kind of prepare for that kind of stuff. But I want to see DPR. I really, really do. Like, there's a lot of these independent artists I would love to see, and I would just like them all to get together and do a tour that's kind of like K-Con, but not really K-Con. Like, I don't know if they'd call it, like, Vibeville. That sounds really super corny, but, like, where, like, you'd have a tour that has, like, artists from AOMG, Brand New, Amoeba Culture, Higher Ground, Higher Music, like, all of those kind of all together would be fantastic. Like, that would be the thing I would want to see so bad. But yeah, I would love to like go to a tour and have Crush and Dean and Zico, like all of Fanty Child there, and Doki and The Quiet and Sumin and Sudan and Hoodie and J Park. Like, I would love to have just like a venue, have all that, and it'd be like the Korean hip hop festival on tour. I think that would be phenomenal. I think people would buy tickets. I think it could go big, but I don't know. I think there's so many little bitty like agreements between this one and that one that you can't really get something like that on. I swear on all I love, it's the man trying to keep me down. Yeah, it is surprising that Monsta X hasn't won more music shows. I don't know why that is. I like Monsta X. I like them for them. It did it again. In a matter of seconds, it like kicked me out again. I swear I must be talking about something I'm not supposed to, and my FBI agent keeps trying to shut me down. Stop it, dude. Please stop. But yeah, I like Monsta X. I don't know why they're not more successful in terms of music shows and stuff like that. Unsolved mysteries. But at least they've won. You know, at least they've won while they're still a young act. Oh, Haze and Loco in one go. That would be so awesome. I wish I could have that here. That'd be so great. I still am on my whole thing about how come K-pop acts don't have opening acts. Like, that's still a thing for me. Like, I still don't understand why that's not working. But it is what it is. So I guess I probably should be wrapping this up pretty soon because I've already seen like I get kicked off all the time. I don't know what the problem is because Jade was literally in this exact same position and things worked out great for her. But for me, it's like, no, I'm not allowed to succeed. I don't know what the universe has against me. I heard BAP's last concert might be their last one. They talked about it on stage. A friend of mine was there and they were worried because that one night might be their last. Okay, so BAP is not a group that I have a lot of connection with. In fact, one of the worst days of my life happened to the soundtrack of a BTS song. I was in my car listening to a BTS album when I got hit by another car and I thought I was going to die because they almost pushed me off the freeway, which would have been a disaster. So yeah, me and BAP are not that strong friends. But I will say this. If BAP was to decide to quit tomorrow, that might be in everybody's best interest because TS is a shit company. Like they're awful. They're not good with artist management. They have overworked the boys for years, and even when they came back, it's like, we're gonna treat you better. They still are being extremely overworked, and I think that the hiatus that BAP took was just, they should have never come back. They should have never come back. Not to like K-pop, but like never to TS. But they took such a long absence that they lost a lot of the steam that they should have had. And I've talked about this over and over again, so I'm pretty much a broken record at this point. But you know, BAP was supposed to be huge. There was a time when BAP and EXO were like head to head. Like they were supposed to be huge. And they were doing really well. And then they did this big hiatus and the lawsuits and everything else. And it was like, okay, for those of us who were into them before the exit, it was like, okay, well, we'll wait for see what happens. Hopefully everything will work out good. They came back, and it's like they came back right where they left off, musically, but not socially. And because they came back musically in exactly the same spot, but music had changed so much in the interim, it was just like the momentum was gone, because even the people who were fans were like, oh, that was cool 2 years ago, but I need you to be kind of doing more of what's the in sound now. And also, like, fundamentally, Bang Young-gook, the way he raps is not really the way that people rap now, even. Like, it's just, they're stuck in a time and a place that they've tried to evolve, but they're not evolving with the industry. It seems like they're evolving away from the industry. And because of that, I don't know how successful they can remain as their current group. And I wonder if perhaps the individual members of the group would stand a better chance if the collective was to divide. Not saying they can't still be friends and still pop up here and there for a reunion concert. Not saying that, but you know, like, I think about how young Jello is, and I think about the fact that with him being so young, but have been in the industry as long as he has, he deserves a chance to start over. And I don't feel like he can do that within BAP. I think he needs to go out and be a part of something else. I think the other members deserve to go out and be parts of something else. I think that Bang Young-gook, with his anxiety issues and everything else, maybe needs to take a step back from the stage and become more of a behind-the-scenes type of dude. I think he could do it. I think he could make a mint ghostwriting for other rappers in the industry, because there's a lot of idol groups that, like, that cute guy who can't sing and is not a great dancer, he's the rapper of the group. Bang Young-gook could make a ton of money ghostwriting for those types. So, like, there's still money to be made, opportunities to be had out there. I just really don't think that BAP, the collective, is where those opportunities are coming from, is where that money is going to come from. And it just sucks because they had everything in place. They had the Motoki, they had the fans, they had a sound, they had a look, and for it to kind of go where it has, I want better for them. I don't think they can do better on TS. and I'm not sure if they can do better together. But that's me talking about a group that I don't stand. And I know that when you stand a group, it's a lot harder to hear that kind of discussion. And I know that because I've gone through that myself. Like, I remember when NSYNC kind of sort of disbanded. They didn't really disband. Like, they didn't ever announce it, but it's kind of like, you know, we're not doing stuff together anymore, that kind of thing. I remember, like, really having hard feelings about it because I loved NSYNC as a group. But then over the years, I've seen where Justin Timberlake has ended up. I've seen what the other people have done, and I've looked at Backstreet Boys. And I'm just like, I'm good with NSYNC not being a unit anymore because the Backstreet Boys have stayed together for a long time, but I have no interest in any of their new projects. Whereas NSYNC, the minute all 5 of them get in a room together, I'm fucking excited. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's them! Yes! Because I love them, and I realize how rare it is to have them all together. But over the years, I've been interested in Joey Fatone narrating for Family Feud, and I've been interested to see Chris Kirkpatrick on whatever reality show he's on, and I was interested in seeing Lance Bass when he tried to create an American version of a K-pop group. Unfortunately, that's how we got Chad Future, but, you know, let's not talk about that. And, of course, Justin Timberlake, I have loved watching him over the years, and I still stand for JC Chasez, and I think he deserves to have the album that we should have got after Adidas. But, yeah, it's hard when you love a group to see them kind of disperse to the winds, but sometimes it's just better for everybody. It really is. Sometimes it's better for everybody. Even though, I mean, Lance owes us some money for exposing us to Chad Future, for sure. I know, JT. Listen, you're speaking to the choir here. I love Justin Timberlake in A Place That Knows No Space or Time. I love him for my life because he was an early love of mine. And if you know what song I'm kind of using the lyrics for, then you and me are close. We're kin. Man of the Woods broke my heart. Man of the Woods broke my heart because I've loved almost everything Justin Timberlake has done. Like, the very first album I loved with Señorita, Justified. Like, I love that album. That album is flaw-free to me. Sexy Back, I love that whole album as well. There were a couple of weak spots there, but for the most part, good stuff. The 2020 Experience. The second half of 2020 Experience, there was a lot of filler there. The first half of the 2020 Experience, two words, tunnel vision. Oh my gosh, tunnel vision. But then, fucking Man of the Woods, which, first of all, fuck you for advertising that it was supposed to be a country album and ended up being like whatever the hell that ended up being. But secondly, like, at some point, Justin Timberlake needed to understand that it's okay to age. It's okay to leave some of this new stuff behind. And for him to come out here and wanting to sound like the Migos, that's not even your lane. Like, that wasn't even what you were doing before. So for you to come out here like this and then also release a video for Man of the Woods, which is like almost a Broadway hee-haw sing-along, oh my gosh, it's like, it hurts my brain to think about that project. And, you know, sticking by Justin Timberlake through the questionable behavior and the whole silence on what happened with Janet Jackson and not wanting to really talk about it. And then for you to throw out a project like Man of the Woods like it's nothing, like that's acceptable behavior. Fuck you, man. Like, ugh. I'm so pissed. But that didn't keep me from being hella excited when they got their star on the Walk of Fame. Like, I was still in my seat like, yes! OT5! Like, I was so happy for OT5 when they got their star on the Walk of Fame. But I'm still mad at Justin. Still mad at him. That hasn't gone away. I watched so many terrible movies that Justin Timberlake was in because Justin Timberlake was in it. I watched Black Snake Moan. Like, really, really. Oh, Justin. Oh, Justin. So yeah, I guess I should probably be going because I'm lucky enough that the stream didn't cut off this time, but it has been questionable. Do I listen to Ariana Grande? Yeah, I do. Not really feeling the new songs so far. I didn't really feel the song with Nicki Minaj. I didn't really feel the other song. I can't even think what the name of it is, but I do like God as a Woman. Like, I actually like the sound of God as a Woman. The lyrics, not my fave, but the sound of the song I enjoy. But the picking it up, what's it called? I don't know what it's called. We turning up, we're picking it up. Right now I'm gonna say, I don't know what the name of that song is, but the first song that came off, No Tears Left to Cry, thank you. That song, I wasn't here for it. It didn't do anything for me. The song with Nicki Minaj didn't do anything for me, and I'm not even going to pretend to guess what the name of that song is. But God is a Woman, I thought it sounded good, so I'm okay with that, and hopefully there'll be more songs on the album to love. The last album, Dangerous Woman, it took me a minute to get into it. There were like a couple of instant likes on Dangerous Woman, like Greedy was an instant like, especially after I got to see people perform it on RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, yes, please. But like the very first Ariana Grande album is a classic. So good. The second album, so good. Like, my favorite song on the second album is Biggest Mistake. Best Mistake. Was Best Mistake? Anyway, the song she did with Big Sean on the second album. Yeah, Best Mistake. Favorite song on that album. So good. So, I mean, I've loved Ariana Grande over the years, but like I said, this was come out so far from the new album. I'm kind of like, I'm not sure. She's getting very experimental, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Greedy is a fantastic song. Like, I don't think that we've even, I think Greedy was eye-opening for me because I don't think I'd heard Ariana Grande sing that hard before, you know? Like, just like flat out, like, you know, sang. Like, she's always had a great voice. She's always given me, like, you know, mini varieties. But definitely, Greedy was something else. It's like, this is the kind of singing you just don't hear everybody do every once in a while. So, we'll see what happens. Touches is also that song. I saw the song she did with Troye, which is what I call him, and my daughter, she always gives me grief about it, but it makes me laugh to see her be awkward. I heard that song. I thought it was okay. You know, it wasn't nothing to write home about in my opinion, but that's because I really don't like the sound of Troy Ye's, his voice, his style. Like, nothing about his aesthetic works for me. And, you know, maybe it's because I'm old and I don't get the new stuff. I'm not on Tumblr like other people are, but it's just, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. Did you listen to Kylie Minogue's new album? No, I have not listened to Kylie Minogue's new album. I should, though, because that lady is phenomenal. I should really pay more attention. She had a birthday not that long ago. She just turned 50, 60? Cannot remember. But that woman is a fighter, and I love her. She's so great. I still think that her best comeback in the last 15 years was Can't Get You Out of My Head. Love that one. Yeah, 50. That's what I thought. It's 50. You gonna get your daughter into K-pop? Oh, girl, I already did that. Like, seriously. Like, I can be in my living room and I can start humming Replay, and my daughter will fill right in there. It's so wonderful. I'm so happy. I did such a good job. Do you listen to Meghan Trainor? I think I've told this story before. The first time I heard Meghan Trainor, I thought it was a little black girl from the Disney Channel that was singing All About That Bass. And then I realized it was a grown ass woman. And I have to say, I did like the song she did with John Legend. That was a good time to be had. But my feelings about Meghan Trainor can be summed up in the video for no. I just can't believe that the public let that happen. I can't believe that the internet let me down so hard. And then, like, I've tried to look at some of her new videos that have been coming out. I don't know about a new album because I'm never going to buy a Meghan Trainor album in life. But I've tried to watch a couple of her new videos, and does she have no one on her team who likes her? Like, is there no one in her life who's like, girl, I'm looking out for you. I want good things to happen to you, and this is not the way. Because I feel like there is nobody. How do you feel about Nicki Minaj? I feel like Nicki Minaj is in a bad place. I feel like Nicki Minaj is in a bad place. And I want to see good things happen for her. But I feel like at this point she needs to get out of her own way a little bit. And I don't know if she's capable of doing so. But this is not an era that I look forward to with her. And I don't know what the future holds for Nicki Minaj. It was kind of like when I was watching. This is terrible. I'm sorry. I know if you're a barb, you're going to think I'm being awful. It was kind of like watching the decline of Lil' Kim. Like, I remember when I really loved Lil' Kim, and she was doing a lot of really fun things, in my opinion. And then when things started to go down for Lil' Kim, I was kind of like, oh, so this is what it's like watching your faves decline. And it's just been like sad ever since. And then, like, with her filing bankruptcy not that long time ago, it's just like, oh, Lil' Kim. And I feel like we're almost heading in that direction for Nicki. I think she could probably get a few more hits out there, but I think we're kind of starting to get into the downward slope for Nicki. But it's not like it's all of a sudden either. It's like it's something that has been building up because she's been so popular for so long that, you know, eventually the popularity wanes. So it's not like this shouldn't happen to her. I think, though, that it's unfortunate that it's going to happen quicker for her than it's going to happen for somebody like Drake. Like, somebody like Drake, he could pull a Jay-Z and be rapping for 20 years, 25 years. Whereas there hasn't been a single female rapper that's been able to maintain a career like that. So it's unfortunate, and it's sexist, and it feels sad. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that right there. It's unfortunate. Let's see what else. Christina's new album, did not listen to it because I did not like any of the singles that came out. I'm very bitter about Christina Aguilera because her first album, the Genie in a Bottle album, I really, really liked a lot. Like, if you had asked me, you know, 15, 20 years ago, who's going to make it, Christina Aguilera or Britney Spears, I'd have told you every single day it's going to be Christina Aguilera because I thought voice-wise she had more going on. She was more interesting. The type of music she did was more my fare, and so I enjoyed it. Then the Stripped album came out, and even though there were a couple of songs on Stripped I didn't really like, I loved the majority of Stripped. I wouldn't say that Britney is the queen now necessarily. I would just say that Britney Spears has somehow managed to find a lane that keeps her fans engaged and enjoying her. I wouldn't say that any of her new albums have been anything to write home about. Like, I feel like that's a fact. But she's got this Vegas residency, and it's not like, I don't ever feel like when Britney Spears releases an album, she's trying to get back her popularity. Whereas I feel like every time Christina Aguilera does something, she's trying to get back onto her pop throne. And I think that that's not for her. I think that instead of trying to do albums to try to get back some kind of fame that she had, she needs to be doing albums that she can be proud to perform for the next 20 years. And I think that Britney Spears has been really good about, you know, making albums when she wants to because she needs new material to put into the Vegas show. But she doesn't really put out songs because she thinks these are going to be Billboard Top 100 songs. And it's an approach to fame that makes all the difference. Like, nobody really calls Britney a flop when she releases an album that doesn't sell a whole bunch, because we know what it's for. The album is there so that she can do a new show. The show's going to be revamped. The new songs are going to end up in the show. With Christina Aguilera, you know she's releasing albums because she thinks this is going to be the one that's going to get me back on top. And I think if she was to not look at the album that way and look at the album as like, I want to do some shit I've always wanted to do, that is when she's at her best. And I say that because, like, I looked at the last album I loved from Christina Aguilera, and that was Back to the Basics. I love that album. And I think that album sounds just as good today as it sounded back then. Like, it sounds better to me, in my opinion, especially, like, the first disc with the DJ Premier stuff. That disc goes so hard. It sounds so good. And it wasn't an album that was made for a certain time and place. It was made because she was at a point in her career where she could have done anything. So she did a passion project. And I think now she doesn't realize she's at a place where she needs to only be doing passion projects, because that's all we want to hear from her. We don't want to hear her trying to be the next whoever else. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, you know, I wish her luck. I did like Rock Your Body. That was a good song. So, do you listen to Demi Lovato? I listen to Demi Lovato a bit. Yes, I do. I thought her last album was really good. I hate what's going on with her right now, and I don't know how that can be helped, but I really hope she finds a way to make it happen for her, because she does have one of the most unique voices of this kind of new generation of singers. Like, she's one of the few of the new generation of singers who doesn't have a quirky voice. She has like a real voice. Like, you listen to a Halsey's cool and all, but a lot of her popularity comes from the fact that her voice is very quirky. Same thing with Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa's a great singer, but she has a very quirky voice. And it seems like the more precocious sound, the more stylized sound, that's what pop music is moving to. Whereas Demi Lovato is like an actual singer. Like, she can just sing flat out. Give her a song, she can murder it. And because of that, you don't have that much of that in pop music. And it's nice to see when that is being embraced and that can succeed. But she's also a former Disney child star, and I just feel like that shit's cursed. Lady Gaga. I listened to Lady Gaga, okay. I wasn't too fond of the last couple projects she's put out. I didn't think Joan was anything to look forward to, but I'm excited to watch A Star Is Born. I really, really am, especially because I watched the last two A Star Is Born. I watched the one with Judy Garland, I watched the one with Barbra Streisand. So I'm very excited to see A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga. It looks like she's doing a good job. I enjoyed her in American Horror Story. I didn't think her acting was the best, but, you know, I did appreciate that she wore the hell out of her costumes in that show. Like, that bitch stayed dressed, and I was here for it all day. But in terms of, like, listening to her albums, a song here and there, but overall, not so much. And, I mean, just, she's another one that I think she needs a better team. Who in the world cleared her to do a song with R. Kelly? Who didn't tell her, like, this is mad problematic, please don't do this? So, especially because, like, the songs Do What You Want With My Body, and then he's accused of running a sex cult. Like, it's awkward. Madonna's coming back. Well, you know, good for her. I no longer have any interest in Madonna. My favorite season of American Horror Story is the season with the witches. That was my favorite, even though American Horror Story Hotel was really good. I did not like the circus one at all. I thought it was bogus. I thought it was garbage. I haven't watched the new one, Cult, but Coven's my fave. I really, really love Coven in a strong, strong way. So that's my heart. So let's see. Yeah. Madonna, I really want Madonna to abide by the same advice I just gave to Christina Aguilera. Quit trying to be who you used to be and be who you are. Or maybe this is who Madonna is and I just don't like Madonna anymore. Maybe that's what it is. I just flat out don't like Madonna anymore. And I come at Madonna in a way that's very different for those of you who are young people. I come at Madonna from being a kid and not seeing anyone out there like her. Like I remember when Vogue came out and that being a totally different thing. And I remember the Erotica album and the Bedtime Stories album and fucking True Blue. I remember like being a kid and watching the video for Open Your Heart and being like, wow, like I don't know if I'm allowed to watch this because this is so sexy. And then for her to come out with Bitch I'm Madonna, and it's just like, being a young person during Madonna's 80s and 90s, it is a time when there'll never be another time like that. There'll never be another. I'm sorry that young people don't have a chance to live that time because it's definitely special and I enjoyed it and I'm lucky that I had it, and that's the only reason why I can't ever talk fully bad about Madonna today, because I know who Madonna was when I was younger and when I needed her, and that's the Madonna I'll always respect. But the Madonna now makes me sad because of how great Madonna used to be. Like today's Madonna, I don't even know if old Madonna would even hang out with new Madonna. Like honestly, I don't even know if them two would get along. But yeah, just I was asked if there's any new R&B album artists that I listen to. Oh my gosh, gross. Not really. Oh, Kalani. Kalani's the one. I really enjoy Kalani. I think everything she's doing is really cool. I like the sound of her voice. She sounds like Brandy to me. I know it's a weird thing to say, but it just does. But I like her. I like what she does. So yeah. I just started listening to Janet Jackson. Oh my gosh, you're so lucky. You know, sometimes I wish I could go back in time and like listen to something for the first time, because there's just something really special about being able to do that. But yeah, Janet Jackson, she's somebody I grew up with. She's somebody I'll always love. And yeah, so Janet, that's my girl. Probably my favorite song from Janet Jackson. Oh my gosh, there's so many good songs. Okay, my favorite song from Janet Jackson is not a song that a lot of people love, but the ones who love it, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Anytime. That's my favorite Janet Jackson song. It's a nasty little song, but I love it so much. It's my favorite Janet Jackson song. I remember being a teenager and hearing Anytime, and my mom being like, what the hell are you listening to? I'm like, I'm sorry, and I had to turn it off. If is a great song too. If has nasty lyrics as well. Oh my gosh. If is a nasty song, y'all. There's a part, you're smooth and shiny, feels so good against my lips, sugar. I want you so bad I can taste your love right now, baby. What do you think she's talking about? What do you think she's talking about? Like, really, If was nasty. If was nasty. But still, I love that song. But Anytime was my song. And the video too, because it was all about voyeurism and exhibitionism, which is not what I do, but still it was exciting. But yeah, I just, good times. Music is so awesome. It's so awesome because like it's really the only time machine that exists for me. Like I can look at old movies and stuff and it's cool, but it doesn't drag me back like songs do. Songs really do drag me back in time to like, I remember where I was when this song came out. I remember where I was when this stuff used to play on the radio. I feel like I felt in those years, in those days. And so for me, music is just, it's something utterly magical. And I thought about like what it would be like to be a person who never heard Shiny before and got to hear Replay for the first time, or got to hear Lucifer for the first time. I would like to think that it's got to be exciting and amazing, but then I think about like, do you really need to hear it when it was new? You know? Because like that happens a lot with us older fans. We're like, oh man, this old album is the best. And it's the best because we encountered that material when it was brand new, and so it gave us a certain kind of feel. Whereas somebody else can listen to it and be like, man, that shit sounds super dated. I don't really like that. And so like I don't know that the new K-pop fan could listen to Replay and get the goosebumps that I get listening to Replay. I don't know if they can listen to Lucifer and immediately vibe with that. But for me, like, I love listening to that new song and having those feelings, and then being able to go back way later on and have it extract those same feelings from me. And I always wish I could go back to that first feeling for it, but not being able to is fine because I still get to carry those memories with me. So, you know, I still get a benefit out of it all. Let's see here. It would be so nice to be into K-pop when Shiny debuted, but can you imagine how hard it would have been for us being into K-pop when Shiny first debuted? Like, could you imagine how tough it must have been to be a K-pop fan in 2008? Like, before there was this huge YouTube community to support it, before people had the ease of being able to get a K-pop CD from practically everywhere. I mean, who would have thought the day would come when you could walk into a Target and buy a K-pop CD? You know? So, I mean, a 2008 fan, I can't even imagine the hurdles they had to go through. It is just, the fact that some of them are still here is amazing. It's fantastic. Definitely, I have certain people who give me insight into what that was like. I look at Girl Personal and her journey in K-pop and how long she's been in. I look at Tina Davidson and her journey in K-pop and how long she's been in. And, you know, there are definitely like some old school, like, veterans in the game. But yeah, I just think about that all the time. Like, how hard it must have been to be into something so incredibly niche. Now, I mean, you could tell somebody I listen to K-pop and they at least have one reference. They either have Psy's Gangnam Style or they have BTS. They have a reference. You know, and it's not a thing anymore. Like, there used to be some shame kind of attached to being into K-pop because people are like, oh, you listen to that Asian shit, you know, and it's just like, no, I'm listening to music. But now, like, there's no shame to it. There's no nothing. People even consider it neat that you like stuff. And it's just so funny. It's so funny. In 2016, 2007, I had to download my K-pop songs. Oh, did you download them from Napster? No, LimeWire. Okay. Wow. LimeWire. That's a time and place. That is a time and place. Woo. Man. We've come a long way. I feel like the Virginia Slims commercial. Come a long way, baby. But look where we are now, where it's just so accessible, tip of our fingers. Fucking go to Spotify and type in K-pop, and they got like 3 or 4 different custom playlists for you with all the latest stuff on it. And they got like a K-hip-hop playlist, and it's just, wow. You know, just really wow. The fact that we're here where we are now and thinking of where we came from is amazing. It is truly phenomenal. So yeah, I just thinking about it. Wow. So, you know, shouts out to the MVPs who were in the early 2000s trying to get hold of this K-pop, because you really were doing the Lord's work. You were really doing the Lord's work, getting the word out there, being on blogs. Ugh. Imagine K-pop fandom before fucking Twitter. When it was like Facebook connects. You guys are the real MVP. You really are. Because, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have a place that people in 2011, 2012 could fit in. When I got into K-pop, Asian fanfics was already a thing. Tumblr already had strong communities. I could go on Drama Fever and watch all these old K-pop or K-dramas with full subs. My goodness, Drama Beans, that website is invaluable if you're into K-drama. And all of those resources were already there because these communities existed in the early 2000s that invented these communities to create access and to create a way to get into it and create these lanes. So, you guys really do mean the world to all of us who are enjoying K-pop now. And it's one of the things that I guess makes me so sad when I see all this like random nonsense and like fan wars, and I don't have to respect the veterans because they didn't do anything for me. And it's like, whether you want to believe it or not, okay, so maybe Rain winning an MTV award is not the reason why BTS is on the Billboard Awards. But having these communities set up shop and creating these lanes of traffic, creating these avenues for exploration is a part of how your faves got on. Being able to see what has worked, what hasn't worked, being able to have a framework by which to grow on, all of that contributed to their success. Whether you believe that your faves owe anything to the ones that came before them, that's fine. If you don't feel like there's a direct correlation, but you can't bypass the indirect correlation. These communities that were the first ones to embrace your fave and spread the word out, they had to have a place to do it, because the first hurdle that BTS had in the industry was just getting other K-pop fans who like K-pop to embrace this group. And once they were able to get K-pop fans on board, then it was okay, I really am gonna, because like this has got to be the 7th or 8th time I've been cut off. But yeah, just saying, it starts with even having a place to talk about your faves, and that is a start. So when people say we don't owe anybody anything, oh, I'm sorry, Jason. When people say I don't owe anybody anything, I think it's really short-sighted. I owe Alexander Graham Bell because he helped to invent the telephone, and I gladly use my cell phone today. There's so many people who we walk on their shoulders every single day that I think we need to be more appreciative of it. Got into K-pop when I was 11. Now it's 2018 and I'm 23 and I feel disconnected. If you want to get connected again, you got to start watching these shows. I said it at the very beginning of this live stream, I'll say it again now. If you want to be connected to new K-pop the way it is today, there's like a few major means to do it. You have to start watching these reality TV shows that all the new groups come by. You have to find a couple of really good YouTube channels that do countdown shows so that you can find out what all the new music is. You need to be subscribed to a couple of different YouTube channels where they do nothing but stream lots of artist music, like Stone Music, Lowen. Well, did Lowen change their name to Stone? I don't know. I'm confused. But One the K, that kind of stuff. You need to get put onto that. And then you need to find a Twitter community. Really, you need to find a good Twitter community, some people you trust, who, if they gave you music recommendations, you would enjoy it. And, you know, follow Soompi. I know it seems like the new groups don't have the magic, but it's just different. That's all it is. It's different, you know, because like I look at HOT and Shenhua and SES, and some of the stuff they did was good, but some of the stuff sounds very less than polished to me. Hell, I listened to early Big Bang and I'm like, these harmonies were not what it is. And I look at their evolution, and I definitely find their latter works to be more palatable to myself. That's more what I like. Whereas I know a lot of people that they favor older Big Bang and those kind of off-key harmonies that they were doing back then. And it is a matter of taste for sure, and getting used to something and everything else. But I think part of what makes it seem like the new generation doesn't have the magic is because the new generation is so incredibly polished. And with that polish comes a bit of sameness, like kind of sounds like everybody because they're all at such a high technical level in what they do. But that technical level was achieved over the years by each of the second generation groups adding a little bit more to that technical prowess. Like you look at the stages of Sotaji and the boys, or you look at a stage for HOT and the way they're performing, then these new groups dance circles around those guys. Vocal wise, they're so strong vocally, way stronger than those guys are. And not saying that they don't have their talents and their charms. What I'm saying is it's like every generation just adds a little bit more and adds a little bit more and adds a little bit more until you get something that they come out the gate looking like they've been doing it for years. And as a person who's having a problem with new groups, I just feel like it's because I watched my faves grow. Like I watched a kind of awkward shiny turn into a view shiny, turn into a one of one shiny. And so we were there and we watched that growth. And that's how new fans feel. They're there from the beginning and they're watching this growth. So you got to find ways to get back into it. You got to find ways to get back into it, but you will. You know, or else you'll transition into another area. Like I definitely have transitioned away from kind of the every single new pop release, and I'm definitely leaning towards the indie side, and that's where I keep myself engaged. Speaking of which, have you guys heard the new Zico IU song Soulmate? It's quite nice. It's lovely. It's a cute video. Crush is in the video wearing fairy wings and playing with the elevator buttons. I don't know why. It's a thing. Well, anyway, guys, I'm going to go because I'm probably just going to get kicked off again because I keep getting kicked off because the internet doesn't want me to succeed, at least not in this apartment. But thank you all for being on with me for as long as you were. Thank you for supporting me. I know I'm not the most consistent person on the internet. I know that my opinions are less than popular, and I know that it's been tough hanging in there with me, but I appreciate that you've given me these opportunities to stay a part of your YouTube experience, and I hope that we can continue to do this. And good night.